Judgment time.
Welcome to Everything Comes Back to 2000AD, and today we're joined by Mr. Stephen Ross.
Mr. Rossy, what you want? On a tree of ice cream cones, a cocoa castle for a home, custard cakes, coffee breaks, holiday, we're on the same.
Hello from rainy Southern California, and I forgot to bring my energy drink, so I'll just have to bring the energy myself.
Yes, the drink is poison. Mr. John Burtis.
Hello to all you drockers out there from a sunny southeast of England, the garden of the whole world. And I'm back at work tonight after having, oh my God, it feels like a fortnight, but it's just a little less than a fortnight.
You were doing Rossy hours.
Oh, it was freaking weird. It was weird. It was really weird trying to get back into day living and alter my sleep pattern, which was freaking... I forced myself on the 31st day to get up early. Oh, my God, it killed me.
Did you have a little siesta on Mexican Day yesterday?
To
get yourself back on track?
Well, when we got back home and we were watching this program, I fell asleep for 5 minutes in it, deep sleep. And then I felt Carolyn move on the settee to obviously wake me. And I woke up and she went, should we stop watching this? I went, nope. So I sat on the edge of the settee to get myself back to awake. Because obviously if you fall asleep, then you're going to fall off. And at the end of the program, I watched the 5 minutes I fell asleep through. And I went, I can't believe I fell asleep through that because that's a load of dancing and music played quite loud. And she went, oh, you can fall asleep through anything.
Well, you're at the age where you're an old man now that you're doing day napping.
That's it. But I had a fantastic time off before we get to the deaths, because we don't want to bring you down straight away. And we got a lot of deaths. I fucking had a brilliant time. I did loads of work in the garden down the bottom, which was a killer because I have to bring it because all of our houses in this area of the street, we've let the back behind our back gardens grow up with weeds and nettles and shit like that. So you're not going to get people sneaking in the back of your house up the garden, you know what I mean? So that the problem with that is when you do any work, you got to bring it all up the massive long garden path through the house out the front. So that was the killer for me. Because if it's one person, which Carolyn was at work for the week, so I was like filling the buckets up, big massive tubs as well, piling them all, take them up to the back of the conservatory. Once I'd finished, I'll then walk up each bit through the house, move all the stuff out of the way of the house so I wouldn't knock things, take it through the house, pile it on the front path, lock up the house, get in the car and drive down to the dump, then come back, take it all back down. So I would be doing that once or twice a day for the first 4 days, and then I didn't do any more. I thought, that's it, I'm not doing it on Friday. Thank fuck, because it was hotter than hell. And so I've got all these Scottish pebbles, which obviously somebody's stolen from Scotland and flogged off to all the garden centres in the rest of the country. So I've got all that, and it's really nicely done. So I'm happy. I've only got one little section to do now, and I'm gonna titivate it up, do a wall around it, a tiny wall, and then I'm gonna fill that with wildflowers and stuff to attract bees and shit, and do my bit for the environment.
Bees and shit.
That's right. But yeah, it was fucking I out and about doing stuff, going out for meals. I had a lovely Italian meal. It was hilarious because we went in there. We've been there once before and it was really nice. But you know what's like? Life gets in the way and we're doing loads of stuff because we're doing lots of eating out with Sam in a different part of the county. It's like fitting it in. So because I was off, I said, right, I'll cook a meal one day and then I'll take us out on another day. Went down. It was quite interesting because there was a group of people behind us who were all talking about how they'd never been to Wales. and how one of them was going, and I was in my head laughing, going, "Don't." But all the time with the military, it was like obviously work, but the couple of times I've been with family, we had a really nice time in the north of Wales, and we went for a day trip to Cardiff, which is about it might be about 200 miles away, probably less, I can't remember. And then we had a Portuguese couple on another table with a friend who was obviously from the town, talking about the town. It was quite a nice little thing, and that was a Thursday night, which was interesting. And then on Saturday, we went to the Sweeps Festival, which is in Rochester, one of the biggest events they have, where you have all the people doing the Morris dancing and stuff. I filmed a few bits and bobs. You do get a lot of people dressed as the chimney sweeps, and there was a group of people singing songs from Mary Poppins. They were all dressed up as the characters, which was really nice. But the speakers weren't loud enough for them.
And after you shot them all, what happened?
Well, I drove down the street and ran them all over in my truck, because that's what you do nowadays. So we did that. Had some lovely food there as well.
That's a mercy killing.
That's right. We went to this place called the George.
He was in Rochester.
We went to the George Vaults, which we're going to be at a music thing there next year, which will be an acoustic set before the big gig. But in that vault, let me just get my pictures up so I can get the exact date. Otherwise, it'll be 14th century vault. It is this building, right? Called George Vaults. Amazing inside. From the outside, just like a very small frontage, but very long. Fantastic bar. The waiting staff were brilliant. The places inside, there was a wedding going on. Now, we were laughing with our waitress about the wedding, because the bride came through twice, once out onto the street, once back in. I'm presuming for photos, because a big good luck thing is to get a picture of the bride and groom with a chimney sweep. Right? Oh. So I presume that's what they went out for, because they knew definitely that the Sweeps Festival was on that weekend, or they didn't know, and it was a hell of a surprise, because the place was heaving. But they had the vault downstairs booked up. They had this other special room which was lovely inside, booked up. There was an outside area, patio, big patio, and luckily when we went in, we saw two people finish their meal and leave the table, so we went straight to that table. And unlike a hell of a lot of other places, there was a lot of room between tables. If I'd have pushed my chair right back and put my feet on the table, I would not have been touching the chair behind me.
Oh, that's good.
Which was unusual. And the food was excellent. They did a special, very small menu for Sweeps Festival, so it was like 12 items on the main menu. And that is always a good thing. If you've ever watched people like Gordon Ramsay, he comes into these places and they do like fucking 150 items on the menu. He goes, you can't be good at all of them. You can't have all that stuff. You can't have all that stuff hanging around. You need to bring your menu right down to like at the max 20 items and be excellent at everything. So they and we looked at their normal menu, which is good, but this is very concise and short, so we knew what we wanted straight away. Lovely. Watched all the people doing their dancing and stuff. Saw some friends there. Had a laugh.
Wait a minute, Flint. Do you have those places out there where you are at, where it's like the menu is just, it's like kind of a fast foodish place, and the menu goes on forever, and it's just like, well, it's all just deep fried anyway, right?
Yeah, they're all variations of a theme.
Yeah.
So we did that.
Gordon Ramsay's full of shit.
No. Yeah, that's what Rossy's saying. Yeah.
Well, he kind of is. With places like that, he kind of is.
Well,
I think he's talking more upscale places.
Yeah.
No, because even when he goes to like I don't know, fucking hell. Basically, every place he goes to on the TV shows, he says the same thing. But he's saying like you can't.
Well, he hasn't been to some of the Mexican places over here, then.
Well, I don't think I've seen. I don't think I've ever seen him go to a Mexican place.
they will have like variations of different dishes, and they're all excellent.
Yeah.
But that rule probably doesn't work in that case.
Well, I don't even mean the Mexican places. Like, did you ever been to a?
Fuck's sake, just go to Denny's.
Exactly,
well, we did go to Denny's.
Right.
Me and Carolyn went to Denny's when we were doing the drives
Or
between
IHOP.
places.
Carol.
We chatted to the manager in Denny's because they did the what do you call that burger where it's fucking crispy at the edge? There's the smash burgers.
Right.
And he was talking about that. We were saying, we really like the crispy edge and blah, blah, blah. And he was saying where he worked before. He said he works here now because it's close to where he lives, that blah, blah, blah. All that sort of stuff.
Nobody ever goes into a Denny's and says, my compliments to the chef.
No. Right. If you get excellent service, right. If you get excellent service, which we had from this lady who must have been in her 60s, 70s, right?
You give her a good tip.
Yeah, of course I did. If you get excellent service, you get a decent tip, right?
Yes.
But we love to have a little chat with them because we like to know how they've got there and this, that, and the other, you know what I mean? Because especially if you're in the middle of nowhere, you're like, how have you got a job here? And so this lady, she was attentive without being over attentive, right?
Yeah.
And so you like that. They notice when you need something without hovering around the table.
She didn't come over to you and ask how the food was, or you're still chewing it.
When you've just put a mouthful in, that's the main one. I always feel when that happens, I feel like looking at the person and then opening my mouth to say stuff and letting the food drop on the plate and go, you know what I mean, and just go, oh, it's nice, we're having that bit. But
open your mouth and go ha 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 ha, and then give him a thumbs up.
Yeah. But yeah, so we had a chat with the manager and he'd done stuff and he was basically at the end of his time, you know what I mean, ready for retirement. And he was just saying, I want to relax a lot more rather than being such a high pressure jobs that he'd done before in the restaurant industry. And you can understand that, you know what I mean? Because I know
it is a very high pressure job.
Oh yeah, I couldn't do it. I mean, I watch these things on the TV and they're in the.
You'd end up losing your rag and throwing stuff around.
Oh fuck me, yeah, it'd be yeah. But it's like everything in it. Horses for courses, you know what I mean? Everyone's good at something, so they hope if they get a chance they can go into that profession. But anyway, so come Sunday, just relaxing, and then Monday was the day we went down to Sam because it was Mexican Day down at Folkestone, and they had the Three Amigos.
Did they have some Mexicans in cages so you can poke at them?
Well, what I was doing was I saw some swimming to the shore and I pushed them back across the fucking Rio Grande. They had the Three Amigos playing, and I'd never seen it, so I didn't realise it started in black and white.
Well, you should have just picked them up and have them do your gardening work for you.
Well, I've fucking done it all. Now there's no point.
You should have just waited. You could have.
Do you know what?
You could just do nothing those 4 days. Wait until Mexican Day. Drive by either the Home Depot or the shore. One way or another, they'll eventually get to the Home Depot. You take them back to you go, you open the door and go, and then they'll go like, ¿Cuánto cuesta? And you go like $20 or 20 quid or whatever.
No, you tell them a load of money, and when they've finished it, then you ring the police up and say, there's some Mexicans have started.
That's what a lady did do.
I know, that's why I said it. That's why I said it.
She hired a group of illegals to do her work for them, and after they finished, she called ice on them.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Modern problems require modern solutions, Mr. Ross.
Exactly.
Right. But reference the
Mexican, you could have made that work for you better. But
you see,
so anyway,
reference the Mexicans doing the work in the garden. When I finished chopping this massive tree down in the front garden, and I only had the last bit to chop down, sort of 6 foot of it, and all the branches and stuff were on the path ready to go in the back of the car to the dump. This car pulled up with a couple of our friends from the Irish persuasion and said, oh, I can cut that down for you. I can do all this. I can do all that. And I'm like,
so they're Irish.
Yeah. In my head, I'm thinking,
well, I can do that for you. My name is Paddy O'Driscoll. I can do that for you.
O'Driscoll, that was my mate in the army, where we nearly got fucking probably killed in Saudi by all the locals who said, get off the streets.
But Paddy O'Sharma, to be sure.
Top of the morning to you, Mr. Burns.
But he says to me, I can do that. And I went, what do you mean, mate? I've nearly done it all. He goes, I'll do that for 100 quid. I said, I've done it all. And I thought,
that sounds more like Mexican tree service, where they wait until you're done. And
yeah, I thought, who the fuck drives up to somebody when they're nearly finished and says, oh, I'll do that for you, mate. All the fucking hard shit's been done. Climbing up the fucking chopping branches down. Fucking
You make it sound as if your backyard's a jungle, but it's actually tiny.
No, that was the front garden.
Oh, the front garden.
Which is tiny, but it had a tree at the corner which I wanted to get rid of. But the back garden is the width of the house, but like 120 foot long. So you got these massive sort of sections in it. But
from the
but you don't.
photos,
All the new
virtually-
houses don't get gardens like these.
Yeah,
These
that's
are,
right. They're all built so close to each other, and there's hardly any back. I mean, if you want to, the new houses they build here, if you want to cut your grass, all you do is take a scissors out and cut it, and then that's it. You're done.
That's
Yeah.
it.
All right,
So
John,
anyway,
John,
yeah,
is
go on,
your house
sorry.
one story or two? Is your house
Okay,
one
now.
story or two? I know
Two
you have an
story.
attic.
So I've
I know you
got a
have an
cellar as well. It's 2 stories.
2 stories and plus an attic on top of that.
Oh yeah, the attic goes the full. Every bit I could walk basically from the front of the house to the back of the house in the attic because of the way it's positioned.
Okay.
From the cellar is under the room I'm on now, the front room, the dining room.
Based on the photos I've seen and the videos, it looks almost identical to the layout of my friend's house in Dorset. The yard looks the same.
We don't have yards. We have
size.
back gardens.
Your back
Yards
gardens,
are in the
and
pit
he has
land.
And he has a little greenhouse
Conservatory.
whatever you want to
Oh,
call
you see,
it.
the conservatory is nobody else in the street has a conservatory because it's the positioning of it. You had to we had the kitchen done at the same time or afterwards. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, I think it was afterwards. So they had to block up the exit of the house and knock off the end of the house. That's what they had to do. And where at an old toilet, outhouse toilet, they blocked that up on the outside, and we made that into the bit where the washing machine and the tumble dryer go on the inside. And the bricks that were used were the bricks that were used from the end of the house to fill those gaps up on the outside. And you would never believe the brickie was fucking phenomenal. Even the people who worked said, we don't know any brickie better than this person. And when you look at the back of the house, you wouldn't believe there was doors in the positions he's bricked up, apart from the lintel above and the step below in the kitchen door. Because unlike others where they would just cut a fucking line down, he made it so it was properly fucking bricked in. You know, a long brick, short brick, so it ran across correctly. And because he used the bricks in the back of the house, they were exactly the same. The weather the same, everything. And fuck knows how he did the fucking pointing, because the pointing looks the same colour as the pointing that's been there for hundreds of years, 100 years. But anyway, so we went to the Mexican.
So you went to Mexican Day and you saw the Three Amigos. It was black.
Well, we watched the beginning of it. We had a lot of tacos and stuff. I took a picture of the tacos that we had, well, the actual names of the tacos, so we could see if these were a thing. So the place was, you can laugh at this name, the place was called Taco Bill, right?
Bill or Bell?
Bill, Bill.
Okay.
So you could have top chos, which were tater tots, chipotle cheese sauce, and salsa roja. Charritos, guava, mandarin, and cola. I had these. I had the smoked beef barbacoa tacos, which had sour cream, pickled carrot, crispy shallot, and beef liqueur. And then the other ones that we had at our table were barbecued pork belly with burnt apple salsa, pickled onion, pork crackling, Baja fish, pickled red cabbage, avocado cream, and chipotle mayo. And this is the weird one. Charred asparagus with Romano pepper, goat's cheese, and mojo verde. Now, Carolyn really enjoyed that. Well, she enjoyed everything, but she really enjoyed that one.
So what do you think, Flint? Because you're at least as
well, the
authentic as
asparagus
we are.
one is weird. I've never seen that before.
Yeah. But all the other ones sound like, I mean, I could see a place out here.
Well, you can see
like
a place in California do tacos like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything. That place you went to in Tunbridge, the Mexcellent, it was not a fucking. It couldn't touch that with a barge pole. That was because it was 2 Mexicans who fucking did most of the kitchen work.
Right.
Amazingly tasty and fucking looked amazing. But it was nice. They had a queue all day long. They had fucking tons of stuff behind them ready to go, because this was like a little stand that was like a pop-up stand sort of thing, but their thing that they take around venues and stuff. Gotta say, very nice. Then the Mexican music started with the mariachi band.
Mexican food in the UK is a bit like if they were doing English food over here, where they'd bake a shepherd's pie with chorizo and guacamole in it.
Oh, we're having shepherd's pie tonight. Nice.
So so on the back of that, we do have
Yeah.
two places out here that I don't know if I mentioned it or if you just poo-pooed it or whatever, but Lucky Baldwin's does do English pub style shepherd's pie.
Lucky Baldwin.
Did they put cheese on the top of it?
Mm-hmm.
Lucky
Well,
Baldwin.
then it's not proper English shepherd pie. They don't put cheese on the top.
That's
Well,
right.
you can have.
That's an American thing. Americans do that with shepherd pie. Over it drives me fucking nuts.
Well, this one you can have it the bland way too. But Lucky Baldwin's is
bland way. You mean the proper way?
You mean the correct way?
Well, I was going to say, did any of the taco meat boiled the English way, or was it? It sounded like some of it was barbecued and grilled. So
it was on a fucking grill with all the wood underneath, fucking the charcoal wood.
There you go.
And you could see all that all the time as they were moving it down, so it was like the hot spot moving down to the bit before they served, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the Mexican music, the mariachi band were fucking awesome. They did fucking classics, which I filmed one, but I can't put it on anywhere because there's fucking kids in the way and all that sort of shit. But
I saw the kids dancing at the one.
There was about, I would say there was about 5 to 6 Mexican families in the area. One of them was leading the dance routines and singing along. She did the claps, the correct positioning in the song, and the people were just to the left of what I was filming. It was fucking lovely to see because you could see there was some teenager girls who were Mexican with their family. They were doing like little dance at the table, but they were not going to get up and dance because they were teenagers. Yeah. And there was another brilliant bit where there was 3 little kids, probably 8 to 10, 3 little girls who were enjoying it, but they were eating so much food and this fizzy drink. And I said to Carolyn, I said, that's a lot of stuff they've ploughed in their mouths and now they're dancing. One of them turned round, opened the mouth, and out it come.
Yeah.
It's a proper Mexican party if somebody throws up.
And their dad went, I told you not to eat all that. And they rushed them past. And she was like, all that. It was hilarious. But we had a good time. Nice food, nice full day, nice. It was a bit overcast at the beginning, and it was fucking sunny as fuck later, and bought a few things down there as well. But now that's the nice things. Let's get on to the dead things. And we got a few fucking comic people. First up, Len Strazewski, age 71, comic book writer. With his notable works, The Fly, Justice Society of America, Phantom Lady, and Prime.
That's your territory, Flint.
And he worked on a comic version of Speed Racer for Now Comics. His Street Fighter 2 comic was for Malibu Comics, was cancelled after just 3 issues by Capcom because of his choice to have Ken Masters murdered in the 2nd issue.
I don't remember that storyline, but I remember I'd heard that name before, but I didn't remember where. So it probably was not from the DC stuff, but from the Now and Malibu stuff.
He worked on Starman as well.
He couldn't have been that old.
And The Flash. Born 16th of Feb 55. He was 71.
Spell his last name. Is it Kaminski?
No, it's Strazew Ski. S-K-I.
Yeah, because I read some of his Fly stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when DC tried to do the Impact line.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Was this when they were? This wasn't like when they got a bunch of like Archie characters or something, was it?
Well, they licensed the properties like the Jaguar, the Shield, for Impact, the Meteor, and the Fly for a younger audience. So they had they licensed it from Archie, and it was their Impact line of comics. Some good artists came from that line. I think I'm thinking it's the same guy, but I might be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But he founded Malibu Comics.
Oh yeah, okay, then that's definitely nowhere because it's where Ninja High School was for a long time too. So
Oh.
yeah, so that was I didn't. Yeah, okay, now I definitely know where that came from. And that's why there was a
Mm.
Ninja High School meets Speed Racer from Now Comics. Probably him,
Ah,
probably behind that.
right.
I'm trying to look up his name to see if he's the guy that wrote The Fly. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
this version of The Fly.
Who else died in comics besides the industry?
The industry isn't dead, Rossy.
Not now. It's gonna be what happened to record stores. It's like, oh, there's still record stores around. It's like, yeah, well, there's not like 3 in every mall, and there's not one in every corner like there was, in the 70s and 80s. It's like, yeah, there's like a shop in the back of a tourist
No,
street somewhere
no,
where
it's
it's
not going
heavily
to be like that at
curated
all. Because
used stuff.
trade paperbacks are the big sellers.
Oh,
The
okay, so
floppy will probably
you're
go.
doing
It'll
okay,
it'll
yeah,
be moved. It'll be moved into it'll be a niche kind of hobby place like that. But the trade paperbacks and everything else they'll surpass sales of all. They do surpass sales of the floppies.
oh yeah, so you're doing that thing where you're counting Dogman? Yeah, sure, they're gonna go on forever.
No, I'm not
You-
counting Dogman. I'm counting DC Comics graphic novels and also Marvel Comics graphic novels.
Yeah, they'll probably figure out some way to. They'll figure out a workaround. And it's like Ben said, after Absolute Batman, there'll be a slump, and then they'll figure out something else, and then there'll be a slump, and it'll be like,
Well, that's the way
it'll
the
just be
comic book
different.
industry always has been. That's the way the
Yeah,
comic book industry always has been.
it's just that I don't think the sales are gonna quite. I don't think the characters and everything around it's going to be as cool as it was. I think the move unless unless they can unless they put the movies on hold for a while and then come back in a few years, give it some time for people to not hate it so much anymore, then we'll see. But anyway,
there's been a disconnect between the movies and comic sales. I mean, the movies don't have done nothing to bump comic sales.
right, and well that was I mean what
The last time a superhero movie bumped comic sales was Batman in '89.
Yeah, well, that's a conversation for another time because what they were doing while there was peak MCU was they were pushing really hard to get the next wave of characters, which is the ones that we're stuck with now that nobody likes. So, but
But comic books aren't just selling because Jimmy Palmiotti said comic book sales are up because not just because of all like they go in and they buy Absolute Batman, but they're also buying other titles when they're in there.
okay, well, I mean, maybe they're buying Marvel and DC. I don't know.
No,
Then
they're
will they
actually
be
buying Dynamite. They're actually buying Dynamite and Image books.
right? So they're well, okay, good, good. All I can say is good for them because like the Dynamite is a bunch of licensed stuff, so they're buying what they know from there, and they're buying.
But licensed stuff has always been around and is always sold.
Well, yeah, I know, but it seems to be moving. It's doing a lot more. It's licensed stuff that I don't care about, so maybe it's maybe I'm seeing it differently, but it is what it is. I mean, I just I'm pushing 60 and just lost interest in it, so it's fine.
That's because
But,
you turned into an old man shouting at clouds.
well, I mean, I don't see how jacking off over an 80-year-old character is still like.
Well, they
reinvent
reinvent it all. They reinvent.
Year-old character.
Well, that's fine. They
40-year-old
reinvent it the whole time. Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
fine. They reinvent the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, what the characters
The Batman of the Batman animated series isn't the same Batman from the 1930s.
right, but the characters
40s.
that I got all excited about in the 70s and 80s, and that most of them were relatively new characters or brand spanking new, and we're not seeing that now. It's just, oh, we've reinvented this 80-year-old character for the 20th time. It's
Well,
like,
that's because
okay,
the 80-year-old character sells.
yeah, cool. I mean, good for. It'd be nice. I mean, it'd be nice if it's like, okay, so, maybe Ninja High School and Reed Fleming, World's Toughest Milkman don't sell anymore, but it's like, what else you got?
I think they did come out. They did come out with a collection of Reed Fleming. Yeah, but Reed Fleming, that's an indie book. That's
That's
really,
what I'm.
that isn't
That's
even
what I'm.
mainstream.
That's what I'm saying. There's almost no new talent, and there's almost no new characters. It'd be nice if like Batman sold.
Have you been looking at stuff?
Yeah, I look at the pirate site every week.
And there's no new characters like Invincible.
I watched the TV show and I was like, this is another fucking superhero book where the heroes are psychotic.
It's a new character. It's a new character though.
It's a new character,
and he's very popular.
Well, good
it
for
sells.
him, but I know, but it's like another superhero book based on the Watchmen thing. Like, hey, you know what? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that I want it to go away. I'm just saying, like, it'd be nice if it, like, in the 80s when everybody, not only did they really drastically revamp Batman and some of the other characters and really revamped a bunch of characters. I mean, the Watchmen characters, essentially the public domain-ish Archie characters.
No, they were Charlton.
It was basically like characters that were public domain-ish, right? And they didn't want to do...
the Charlton characters weren't in public domain, else DC wouldn't have bought them.
That's why I said public domain-ish. They were like...
They're not. They're either in public domain or they're not. There's no ish. Okay,
they're characters that virtually everybody had forgotten about.
Right.
That hadn't been seen print for years. Some of them are now, except for the ones that they bought. There was kind of like that cluster of them that everybody's calling public domain now, that everybody's using to death and nobody cares about except people who are using them. You know like what I'm talking about? You understand the concept?
Yeah, I
Maybe
get
not
it.
the semantics, but the concept. Okay, so.
Oh, look at him getting feisty.
Yeah. So.
Public domainish. I'm telling you, they don't buy characters that are public domainish. End of story. That's a really bad business decision.
Well, no, I'm just trying to describe it for the sake of the story, so we don't get off on this 10-minute tangent. So, but it's like there are a bunch of characters that were virtually forgotten, and so that was the Watchmen characters. They totally revamped them in ways that were like, what the fuck is this? And it was like this. It seemed to us.
That's because he was told. That's because Alan Moore was told he couldn't use them, so he had to make up his own versions of them.
Right, but they were. I mean, they were recognizable. Like, this is what they kind of looked like, sounded like, and
no,
what their powers
no, you
were.
wouldn't. If you never saw any of the Charlton characters and you read the Watchmen, you wouldn't put one and one together to make two.
I saw a picture of this. If you put a picture of Rorschach and the Question side by side, it's kind of like I can see where one came from.
Right, but you wouldn't if you had no knowledge of the Charlton characters, you wouldn't have a clue unless you were told they were Charlton characters.
Right.
You look at Dr. Manhattan.
Right. So there's two tiers to that. So the point I am trying to make is around from the mid 80s to about the mid 90s, there was like this revolution of brand new ideas, kind of sort of starting around Dark Knight and kind of sort of ending around the Image stuff, where even if it was kind of like the kernel of the idea was based on something old, either that old thing was so far forgotten,
right,
except by old people, that it seemed brand new to us 20, 30-year-olds, or it was like just clear out of nowhere, like Milk and Cheese or the really nutty indie stuff, or nobody was reading manga at the time, something like Ninja High School and a couple of other books that were like heavily based on the Japanese stuff, or they were bringing the Japanese stuff over, which we were all seeing for the first. It was like a crazy time of brand new stuff, and everything was like, wow, what is this? And then 2000, and then you had 2000 AD firing on all cylinders at the time too, or it just seemed to be this endless source of like crazy shit that neither Marvel nor DC would touch with a 10-foot pole, to the point where it almost none of it really landed here in the States. So that was a wild, crazy time. Now I look at it and it's kind of like, okay, this is Batman and this is Wonder Woman fighting, versus Lobo or whoever, and it's like and it's the Ninja Turtles paired up with Godzilla. That makes sense, but it's not a new take on anything, and it's not there's no 20-year-old that's putting out something that's amazing. Even Dogman, that guy is our age and putting in jokes that guys.
You mean like do a
get.
power bomb? You mean like I Hate Fairyland?
Do a power bomb's another wrestling comic. It was good.
What about I Hate Fairyland?
I have no first hand knowledge of I Hate Fairyland, but it's like there's so many fantasy books out now, and the ones that do the best are, you got Garth Ennis basically doing Red Sonja, which is been done basically doing Red Sonja, and then you got like Red Sonja and like.
But you're saying there's nothing new. You're saying there's nothing new and exciting out there, but I Hate Fairyland is amazing. It's funny too.
Okay, well, I mean, I can't read everything, and it just there's nothing about that title that appeals to me. So I believe
I do kind of get what you're saying. There was a lot more independent voices.
Yeah, there were like 20. There was a space for 20-year-olds, whether it was just self-published black and white or publishers like Dark Horse and some of the other First Comics and all that were willing to take crazy chances, and and the comic, they sold well enough that some of these things lasted for 3, 4, 5 years. So nobody got rich, but somebody made a living. So and then sometimes it wasn't even the sales that killed it. It was like a bad business decision, like Malibu trying to spend $40,000 on a sizzle reel for their stupid Ultiverse or whatever that the Malibuverse thing was called. So
I think you're seeing the big companies not taking as much risks, but I think there are a lot of risk takers out there that are working for small independent companies.
I think the risks all feel, to me, most of the risks feel like they're from that same algorithm that dictates what goes on to streaming channels. I mean, you could write a book, and I'm sure there is a book out there that's like, if you're going to pitch before everything collapsed, I'm sure there were books out there that were like, if you're going to pitch, or blogs or YouTube videos, that if you're going to pitch to a streaming channel, these are the elements that they're looking for. And a lot of the comic stuff feels like, that they've written the screenplay. Now the producer doesn't have to read the script; they can just.
But you just said you don't read a lot of it.
I don't read a lot of it.
Then how do you know that that's true or not?
Because I will download it, flip through the pages, and go through the whole thing without reading.
Because I Hate Fairyland and Scotty Young's books don't read like that at all.
Oh, is it Scotty? Is it Scotty Young? Yeah, I get it too. But I don't.
Mike Mignola's Miss Truesdale is another one that doesn't read like that.
Yeah, I
think that was probably true when streaming was at its height, when there was like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true today. You are going to get idiots like probably Mad Cave or Guilty of this, where their stuff does look like it's pitched towards TV shows.
Mad Cave has its own universe that they're actively looking. The only place that they're looking for people at Mad Cave is they've got their own little universe. There's like some urban supernatural something squad of diverse characters, and they've got 2 or 3 other things that are kind of like tied into it, and it's the streaming thing of like supernatural urban horror, but
right. And I think that Mark Miller's another one that writes like that too, because basically he's owned by Netflix. So all his properties he creates like that. But I don't think I think there's a lot of stuff out there that isn't written that way at all.
Well, if the stuff
because you're limiting yourself. If like comic books, you're the creator. You create this world, and you can be as crazy and outlandish as possible that so like a lot of properties you just don't translate well to streaming because the budget would be astronomical.
Right. There, I saw this one. It was about a black family that through history it was like the first stories were very steampunk inspired, but the characters were black, and they went through the retro 1950s pulpy sci-fi. Well, the 40s was like the pulpy sci-fi, and I think they got into like the 50s, and then the 60s early Marvel stuff. And it's kind of like, okay, it's all of those things, and the characters are black. And I read the first 2 or 3. It was well written. It was paced slow as fuck because it's written for the trade. There are trades of each era available. There's an omnibus where you can get all of them. The guy's a success story. The art looks good, and I'm like, I've read I don't know how many tributes and redos and looking at that, all of those eras from different angles and deconstructions of them and retellings of them and realistic takes. What if it was this, but it looked like this, but it was a realistic version of that? And I've read all of those stories like dozens of times each, and it's like, and this is a good 20th version of that. So
Right.
that's my thing. It's like it's not that there's anything wrong with them. It's just that it's a really good, highly polished 20th version of that. The same thing. Japan did the same fucking thing with the Power Rangers stuff. They redid. They did the Super Sentai thing each year, 52 episodes or close to it. Some of them, give or take 5 episodes, since you like semantics. But they would do like basically a year's worth of shows, and then change the gimmick, and then you get another year of shows, different cast, different everything, different robot, different because that's they've got that year to sell the toys. And right now, if you look at the new ones, it's like now
But everything has always been that way, Rossy. You look at Hanna-Barbera when they did Scooby-Doo, right? Because Scooby-Doo was a big hit. Look at all the other cartoons they did with the like Squiddly Diddly, the fucking octopus, and he had his own crew that tried to solve crime. Once one hits, they're all the variations of a theme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean the really popular stuff, sure. I mean Power Rangers is really popular. Why wouldn't you keep doing that until you run it into the ground? And I think, and that's my thing, is like there's a place for that. There's a place to reinvent Batman. There's a place to even reinvent Dredd. I mean, Dredd has gone from wacky crime of the week to John Wagner doing those meditations on aging and the procedurals, and like once he started reading all those like real crime novels, he started doing that stuff in Dredd, to the mega epics and all that. But the problem is now it's not that there's anything that wrong with a lot of the Dredd stories. It's just that
it's all you're kind of saying that. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. You're like saying it's all recycled.
It's not, but it's not that it's the worst version of that either. I mean, even at peak Dredd, peak Batman, where there were some bad stories stuck in there, but basically we're like everything feels like it feels like year 40 of The Simpsons, and people are telling me like, oh, The Simpsons actually got funny again, and I'm like, that's great, but I was there for like season 3 when they were doing the monorail episode, and so and there's like no way that this new season is going to have the same effect as that monorail episode of The Simpsons when it was broadcast, and for like 10 years after that. And I mean that particular season, not what happened in season 10.
Right.
So yeah. So I mean, there's a place for all of that. But it's like, that's I'm excited.
All you're saying is now you're old and tired.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there's the top, there's the safe top that keeps reinventing itself, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. And right now
to be fair with Absolute Batman, that could be Absolute Axeman. and it wouldn't sell. It only sells because it's got Batman's name on it.
Yeah.
I mean, the character and everything else. I mean, you could change every. I mean, it's like his parents aren't dead. Only one of them is dead. His mother's still alive. You know, and then the whole Batman angle, it's completely different. So
Yeah,
it's like
and
they might as well just call a bloke in suit with axe.
yeah, I mean, and that if it's well written and exciting and kids who have
Oh, it's fun.
the-
It's fun. Now there's some
Yeah.
idiot logic in it, but it's a lot of fun. And the minute that artist gets off that title, that'll be it. But it's like Ben said. I mean, eventually that'll go, that'll slump. But that's the way everything is.
Sure. Well, and it'll slump, but I'm talking about like that's the top tier of everything. The problem with some of the stuff though is like Star Wars just got so consistently bad that even though I've been told from every metric and I've seen the first 2 episodes of the Darth Maul show, I have no interest in watching the rest of it.
Right.
Just because.
Well, you know what they're doing. You know what I heard that this is a rumor that they're gonna get rid of all the stuff that they did after Episode 6 and reboot it. So you won't have Daisy Ridley. You won't have all that like emo Darth Vader or any of that shit. They're gonna reboot it from Episode 6 onwards with a new cast and crew.
Right. Well, I mean, good for them. But again, like Star Wars and the MCU are probably like the worst offenders of just like they were allowed to go on for so long being so bad. But like, you know, Batman.
So you don't mind stuff like that going on long as long as it's written well and done well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like, I mean I'm just saying that there's no. What I'm saying is, and this is what I'm saying. What I mean, you don't have to like reinterpret it. There's a top tier of stuff that has had peaks and valleys, and it may not be as revolutionary as Dark Knight was, and the crazy like holy shit, where did this come from? And they started getting away from like the bang zap pow articles about how when they would the mainstream media covered it. It wasn't
Julie Swartz hated that shit in the 60s when he did the Batman show.
Yeah, I mean like comics.
He fucking hated that shit.
Right. So comics weren't part of the mainstream media, but the mainstream media would occasionally dip in and do an article about how
belittling it is.
how Dark Knight was amazing, and these guys who started their own company was amazing, and da 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 da.
They're fluff pieces.
They were fluff pieces, but you know they meant something to me. Damn it.
Well, it was cool that you saw comics eventually hit mainstream like that the mainstream media was covering it, but they were kind of condescending at the same time.
Oh, always. And then half the times they get the names of the creators wrong too.
Wrong, yeah.
but then like it's like the Michael Keaton Batman movie. It was far from perfect, but you know there was like
it's terrible. He's the worst. Amazing. If you watch the first 10 minutes of that movie, he's the shittiest, worst Batman ever.
Yeah, but I mean, there's like 20 minutes of it that looks amazing if you divorce it from the story being told. So, but I'm saying, but that
it's the Joker movie.
Yeah. I mean, they've got every penny.
Well, I watched. I told you
because they paid for it.
Yeah, I told you. I watched the first 10 minutes of it lately, and you see like the family getting mugged at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right, and you think that's Bruce Wayne and whatever if you're familiar with the Batman story, but it's not. It's just a random couple getting mugged with the kid. Batman's then the camera pans up, right, and Batman's been watching them get mugged. He doesn't fucking intervene, right?
Yeah.
And then later on, the next scene, the two crooks are on the rooftop and they're divvying up the money, whatever they robbed from them. Batman appears, beats the shit out of the two of them, grabs one guy and goes, "Tell everyone I'm Batman." Then leaves them. Yeah. He didn't even take he didn't even like tie him up, arrest them, have the cops come by. He didn't even take the loot off them. Nothing. He's just like, I'm like, he's the worst fucking Batman ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the story's absolutely wonky, but like, you never thought you'd live at that time. You never thought you'd live to see Batman look that cool and do
cool and I think Tim Burton was caught in two minds because a lot of people remember the 60s TV show and it was in reruns and everything else. So that was mainly the public's version of Batman, right? And then you had the Dark Knight Returns, which was a darker, more adult version of Batman. So I think he tried to merge both, because there are bits in that '89 movie that are just out and out campy, and there are bits that are really serious. So I think he tried to do a dance there until Nolan's movie came along and said, "Fuck that shit."
There was lore that they were ready to make a Bill Murray, Eddie Murphy Batman and Robin movie until Dark Knight came out. So anyway,
that was true. Bill Murray was one of the guys that was tapped to play Batman.
So my long-winded wedge in John's deaths segment,
the death of the comic book industry,
which I just threw out there in my Mr. Plinkett voice under my breath, and it became this. My long-winded thing is that there are top-tier stuff that are doing very well. There's millennial nostalgia stuff that is doing very well, and there is nothing wrong with the way they're doing it. It's competently told. It's making people happy. Blah 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 blah. But what there isn't is a robust, independent lower tier where young people have a step to entry. And for a long time, I thought Webtoons was going to be it. But
here's the thing, though. I don't think you need it. I mean, as an artist and writer, your goal shouldn't be to work for the two big companies anymore.
No, never.
It should be to do. So I think that's changed. I do agree with you. Before in the '80s, when you worked on an independent comic book, your goal was actually to work for the big leagues, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, again, some of them, guys like Bob Burton and all that, they had their own little fiefdom, and they were doing good for like.
Right, but usually if you worked on a big mainstream book for DC or Marvel, you came from the minor leagues, right? Like Adam Hughes started off with the Mays Agency.
Yeah.
Right. But eventually he landed the Justice League of America gig. Yannick Paquette worked on Warrior Non Ariella, and then he ended up scoring the Wonder Woman gig. So I think I think it was the goal back then in general. I mean, you're always going to have your Bob Burdens and your Reed Fleming, the Milkman
I think Rob
thing.
Liefeld came from Caliber. Didn't he do like Megatron or something?
Yeah, something like that. And then James O'Barr's Crow came from Caliber too, but I don't know if he did anything outside that. But that's but your goal was to work it into the big leagues of DC and Marvel. But I think because of self-publishing now and the internet and everything else, I don't think you need that. People don't need that. I mean, you look at a guy the Ripperverse guy.
But again, it's like it doesn't. First of all, it's controversial because there was like a lot of politics around it. So it's kind of like he's making money and successful doing that, but it's not like you can walk into every comic book store and necessarily find it there. You have to get it from him. So it's kind of like, it would be nice. What's kind of needed. Actually, if you wanted to listen to it, there was the Comics by Perch guy did a pretty good, very interesting video, and he was laughing and he said, "This is going to be my least watched video because it's dollars and cents." But he had a friend who was on one of these consulting firms that like consult for multi-million-dollar companies, and he says they don't get out of bed for less than, I forgot how many thousands of dollars that they would charge. But he asked him as a favor, and the guy did it just because he was interested. And he gave him like this 5, 6 point, 10 point thing, and all of the ideas were amazing, but it was like the industry just doesn't really have the wherewithal and the resources to do it, because a lot of these companies are like a one, especially Kickstarter level stuff, it's like a one-man band, and they don't have the resources to really pull it together like that. Even like I've said about Antarctic Press, they walk around like, 40 years in the business. It's like, yeah, but there's like,
what do you got to show for it, man?
No, they've got a lot to show for it, but it's like, I've been in the storage room, but it's, there's like 10 guys on I was looking at the Dynamite thing. I downloaded 2 issues of Dynamite comics, Thunder the Barbarian and Savage Tales, and
Thunder is horrible.
And you can be like, piracy is theft and all that. Had I gone to a comic book store And had I flipped through, did what exactly what
You
I
would
did,
have
I did
burned the
not-
place down.
No, I flipped through.
If you went to the comic book store, bought Thunder the Barbarian, brought it home, read it, you'd be so fucking pissed off and angry. You go back and you'd fucking throw shit in the store window.
Well, here's the thing. I read so this is the third issue. I read the first two issues. I haven't liked it yet. I looked at the third one. It's a lot more action packed. Like the things are ramping up, but there's things I can tell, and I didn't read it, but there's things I can tell are going on. They're talking about like the premise of the show is that the moon, an asteroid came by Earth and the Earth split and and they're telling you like all the details behind that origin story mixed in with.
They don't have to do that though. They really don't have to.
No,
they could just go straight into the action, and they don't have to keep on bringing back the bad guys that were dead.
Yeah, right. And then the middle chunk of it is, and again, in the opening credits of the show, they do it in I don't know how many frames of animation. They show Thundar like breaking his chains and seeing Ukla. That's like a 2-second shot in the opening credit of
that's
the
all.
show.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
And it's like the middle chunk of the comic book. They're telling you all the. They're telling you so. The Red Letter Media guys, they did this bit before this Han Solo movie trailer dropped, where they were looking at they were going to review the trailer before anybody else. So they pre-filmed a trailer of them reacting to a blank screen, and then they were just going to add the footage of the actual trailer in after the fact. So they were pretty much.
And they probably nailed it completely.
Yeah, every throwaway line of dialogue and everything that was never actually shown in the Star Wars movies. They pretended like they were reacting to it. Oh, this is where he meets Chewie for the first time.
And this is where he says, "Don't ever tell me the odds, kid."
This is the Kessel Run. We're seeing the Kessel Run. And like all of that shit's actually in the movie. So that's what this comic is. It's like every,
there's no need to do that. There's no need to do that.
No, I asked the Italian guy, like when I was doing Zen, like why does this blonde man live in the jungle and talk to animals? And I said, is there an origin story? He says, no, they just, Tarzan lives in the jungle, he talks to animals. There's this guy lives in the jungle, he talks to animals.
Yeah.
That's
why Kyla's origin story is like 1 page. That's it.
That's all you need.
She came out of a container. The end.
Get out. If there's not action and boobs in it, we don't need to know that story. So.
Actually, talking about, we're going off on a tangent here, way off tangent. I've been reading FemForce.
He's working in the garden now. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been starting rereading FemForce. It's actually pretty fun. I can see why that did well in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean when it hits that leading up to 100 mark, that's like peak, and it's as legit a superhero title as Legion of Superheroes or Justice.
Some of the artwork is fantastic too.
Yeah, remember
good
when
storytelling.
Justice League? Remember when Justice League became like really goofy, and it's the
you know why it became why it became goofy back then. Why? Because they weren't allowed used when they first started Justice League. They were told that they could only use Batman and Superman sparingly. They couldn't use any of the big major hitters because they were there. I think it was just after Crisis, right, when they revamped it. So that's why it's like that. And so Keith Giffen said, well, let's make it goofy. Let's all use these B-listers like the Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. So you have Blue and Gold and Black Canary, all these B-listers in there, and just make it goofy. That's one of the funniest comic books I've ever read, was that Justice League run.
Yeah, well, basically...
They even had their own version of Captain America. His name is Captain Glory.
Mm-hmm.
And he fought against this huge Hitler robot, and they even had the Hitler robot even had his hair and a mustache, and it was giant, like Godzilla size. It was funny shit.
That sounds like something you would do, except you'd call it Captain Glory Hole. But like Dan Abnett did the same thing for Marvel with the
Guardians of the Galaxy
iteration of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So to me, that's what FemForce is. It's like they said, well, you can't have an all-female Avengers, and he said, "Hold my beer." But again, that's another thing. Like that now that
and it's fun, and their legacy characters too. From let's get back to the public domainish, right? Like Senorita Rito, her daughter's in it.
So supposedly he bought those characters. He did buy those characters before they were public domain.
Oh wow! So they do actually have legacy characters from those public domain characters in there.
Exactly. So, but again, like that that was on the earlier end of the spectrum, but
Right.
that was from that era, and it was like this revolutionary thing. Like Marvel wouldn't touch an all-female superhero team at that time. So Bill Black said, "Hold my beer," and he did that, and the thing's still going on today, and it's as recycled.
Oh, some of those artists actually did stuff. Some of those artists actually did stuff for DC. A couple of those artists did stuff for DC. Marinin is Bill Marinin, I think his name is. He did some stuff for DC. And talking about characters that you don't see around anymore. The Phantom. They're making a Phantom TV show, Rossy.
Good for that. They're not going to have Catherine Zeta-Jones at peak hotness.
Yeah. Well, they're doing that, and also the new they had a Phantom one-shot comic book that actually was pretty good. It's like, I think it's the Phantom versus the Sky Pirates or something.
Yeah, I mean, Mad Cave, I think, has been doing Phantom comics along. I think they got the King's Feature Syndicate
rights for that, right? I think because they're doing all that stuff. Yeah, so I mean, everything old is new again.
Everything old just keeps going and going and going. It's not it's not that it's went away.
Off my lawn.
No, it's not that it went away and came back new again. It's that it keeps right now. We're at this point. I mean,
let's do the weave. Let's circle back to Len Straczynski, whatever, and that's what they tried to do with The Fly.
Okay.
And all those Archie superheroes with Impact Comic, DC's Impact Comics. They tried to make all that old stuff new again and relevant for kids. And that actually was a good line. I think they only lasted like 2 years or less. I think the most popular character, Jaguar comic, went on longer. The Comet, it wasn't the Meteor, it was the Comet. That went on a bit too, on the Shield. They always try and reinvent them. But I mean, the Fly comic was actually really well written and really well drawn. The artist on it was, I think he did some of the Batman Adventures comic books. So I mean, that was a beautiful looking book. I bought like nearly all those titles when they came out.
John,
they're fun.
They're fun. Speaking of people who died, John, are you alive?
He's gone.
He's gone. I'm still alive. I was just.
Anyway, we're talking about Len. He was again? Yeah, that Len guy. He was a big. He had a decent career.
Okay.
So anyway, John, any more deaths?
Let's
the death of this conversation.
There we go.
Yeah,
let me give you.
I didn't get a chance to bicker with Ben this week, so there you go.
Right. So the next death. The next death is. It's a Nedra Talley, aged 80. An American Hall of Fame singer with the Ronettes. So that means...
Did she remove the whacker from the end of that title? Her name?
Yes.
Talking about Tallywhacker, Rossy, you're okay now, aren't you?
No, I have to take a procedure in the middle of June.
But you don't have a tube stuck up there anymore, do you?
Oh, they
He's probably going to do that for sexual kicks now.
Well, they danced around
the maypole.
How badly they fucked up on that. They admit that was
they did it for fun,
but they don't admit that it was like any kind of mistake. Yeah, pretty much. Fucking sadists. So yeah.
Well, you don't have the tube is gone though, right?
Right. I mean, I literally could not sit in the chair in my closet because it was for more than 10 minutes because it was really hard. I could sit in the recliner.
What was really hard?
And my dad's everything. Definitely not my tallywhacker. It was difficult.
Well, I'm glad that the tube is out and you're doing okay.
Thank you. I'm on meds so I can pee, but I have to like if I drink a cup, I have to pee a cup. But it's got to be an ecosystem until I can get the thing finally taken care of. There's concern too that my bladder may have expanded beyond its capacity because of that night. So we're looking into that too. So everything's fucked up. I'm old.
Anyways, John, go ahead. I have to ask it to see if he's okay.
Yes. Where we are? Let's get that. There we are. Right. So, Nedra Talley-Wacker, aged 80, American Hall of Fame singer with the Ronettes, which means all the original members are no longer with us. You must know Be My Baby and Baby I Love You. I mean, they're the massive ones, which if you watch any sort of film from that around that period, like they would be in somewhere along that sort of soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading, she left the group. Where's it at? That's it. Here we are. In '67, Talley and Estelle Bennett left the Ronettes a decade after the group's formation. The split was reportedly due in a part to interference from the group's producer, Phil the Maid Respecter, who later married Ronnie Bennett. Talley said that when she met Scott Ross, her future husband, she became a born-again Christian. So she went on doing Christian-inspired music. And when this popped up, I went onto YouTube to have a look for their induction to the Hall of Fame and all that sort of stuff. Quite interesting videos and all that. But yeah, it's like it was before our time, but it's music I've always known because it's always been
That's probably used
around.
the Dirty Dancing soundtrack.
You name it, that sort of stuff. Yeah. So quite sad to see that the whole group is no longer with us. I'm sure there'll be a cover version of them going around because some of the obviously you have massive cover groups who do like ABBA, the Beatles, Rolling Stones. They do big money going around the world because the chances of you seeing these groups, especially ABBA, you're never going to see them. You're never going to see the Beatles. Rolling Stones are coming to the end of their fucking touring, and people want to have that live music feel. So that's the way that's the way it'll be. So anyway, very sad to see that. Next up, we have Steve Maslow, aged 81, American. Now we will have heard this person's work. American sound mixer from The Empire Strikes Back, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Speed, etc., etc. And he won Oscars for those three. And he was also nominated for Dune, Waterworld, Twister, and the fucking big lie that the Americans decided to do a film, U571.
I thought you meant An Inconvenient Truth, but okay.
No. Oh, that is full of lies, isn't it? By the courts as well, they've done that. He worked on more than 200 films since 1978, and he died from cancer in a therapy facility in West Hills.
How old is he?
He was 81.
Oh, the grand old age.
Yeah. So, and yeah, it's pretty impressive. Like when all I say then, without going into the full list, but yeah, good on him for all that stuff. Next up, we've got somebody, Jerry Conway, age 73, an American comic book writer. What's going on? Notable works: Punisher, Spider-Man, Justice League of America, Firestorm, Batman, Jason Todd, Miss Marvel, Killer Croc, and he also won the Inkpot Award in 2013.
Well, he was the co-creator of the Punisher.
Yes, I was going to get to that, but we got this interesting bit. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, and he was a fan of comics from a young age. In fact, a letter from him appears in Fantastic Four, issue 50, 1966, when he was 13.
That's no good. I mean, Rossy's letter appeared in the Prog, and he also had his letters appeared in the Micronauts. Jerry Conway's a lightweight.
Oh yeah, and there's others too. Other indie comics that are no.
Okay, Rossy. Okay, Rossy. What issue of the Micronauts is your letter in?
I don't remember. I think there's more than one, and it's like 30. I think 35, somewhere in the mid 30s was one I remember, and then I think I did one near the end of the line when Butch Guys took over.
What other books is your letters in? Your comic books?
Weirdly enough, there was a Jungle Woman comic that I think the title was actually the Asian version of Kyla. It was called Kyra.
Kyra.
It was like
that's an Asian person pronouncing Kyla.
That's what I'm saying. And then some of Evan Dorkin's stuff, like Pirate Corps. Stuff. There was a bit. There was. I had nothing else better to do apparently than write the comics. So
I'd love to have a list of the comic books that you did and hunt them down and then do screenshots and stick it up on the website.
are you going to read like? Are you going to use the voice and go like? It is a far better thing that you are printing now than in the previous installments.
Right, so we've also got, well, you mentioned this bit, he co-created the Marvel Comics vigilante anti-hero, the Punisher, as well as Peter Parker's clone, Ben Reilly, the supervillain Jackal.
He also killed off Gwen Stacy.
Oh, fucking hell, just hang on, that's me next line. And the first Miss Marvel. He also wrote the death of the character Gwen Stacy during his long run on The Amazing Spider-Man. In the story arc, The Night Gwen Stacy Died. For DC Comics, he co-created the superheroes.
He also had Spider-Man drive around in the Spider-Mobile on a few issues too.
We're okay. That's not in here.
And then he hated it so much that he eventually had Spider-Man drive it off the pier into the water, and then it was never seen again.
So he did. He also co-created Power Girl, Jason Todd, and Killer Croc. He wrote Justice League of America for 8 years, and he wrote the first major modern-day intercompany crossover, Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man. And not only when you go around the fucking comics list is fucking ginormous, but he also wrote screenwriting credits for feature films.
Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, and Fire and Ice. Then television.
Ooh, I forgot Fire and Ice.
He did stuff for this. He did a lot of stuff for Diagnosis Murder, G.I. Joe, the Transformers, Centurion, Spider-Man, the animated series.
He wrote a lot of animated stuff. I think he did the Superman. I think he wrote the Superman animated series as well. Well, I mean the one in the 80s, not the 90s.
Jake and the Fat Man, Father Dowling Mysteries, Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, The Huntress, Baywatch Nights, Law and Order, Batman the animated series. Yeah, so fucking tons of shit. Yeah,
he was a hack.
Yeah. So next up we have.
No wonder I liked him. He created Power Girl and the Punisher.
I was going to say, characters. As a boob man, you should have jumped in with the Power Girl.
Yeah, Power Girl. Yeah.
We've also got Dick Matena, 83, a Dutch comics writer and cartoonist.
They have comics in Holland?
Yeah. In 1960, at the age of 17, Matena started working as a volunteer at the Toonda Studios. He helped with the drawing projects of Tom Puss and Panda. He did a foreign stuff in Spain for the comic magazine Titanic. He moved to Belgium. Did stuff there.
Never heard of her.
Yeah.
I know you said hair for a laugh.
But the thing with Jerry Conway is the Conan the Barbarian, the sequel, gets a lot of shit. But I actually liked that movie a lot because it came across as very comic booky, and it makes sense because Jerry Conway and Roy Thomas wrote that screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hadn't read Robert E. Howard actually, like his own words, at the time that movie came out, and so I preferred that movie. But now that I've read,
hold on, did you say you didn't read Robert E. Howard stuff at that time?
At the time the movie came out, I was too busy fanboying over Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Okay.
But then, now that I've read Robert E. Howard, it's like I think they both can exist in the same, same place. There's room for both.
The thing about Robert E. Howard is, like, when you read that stuff, that's real, like, adrenaline. It's like getting an adrenaline shot, right? The Conan stuff. Mm-hmm. And then when the other writers like Lynn Carter and Sprague, what's his name, Sprague de Camp, when they took over, I mean, there's a letter in one of the Savage Sword of Conan's, a black and white magazine, where they interview Lynn Carter, not Lynn Carter, the L. Sprague de Camp guy, and he said that why is his writing so much different than Conan? And he said, well, I can't match Robert E. Howard. There's no way. Yeah. So his stuff is all political intrigue with a lot of like very Game of Thrones-ish compared to Robert E. Howard. Robert E. Howard is just like, throw a supernatural beast in there and just have women with big breasts, and Conan do manly stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's night and day. And even my favorite comics. Some of my favorite comics are the Conan ones written by Roy Thomas, and they're the Roy Thomas ones where he adapts the Robert E. Howard stories.
Yeah.
After that, he sucked. Thomas, I mean, I don't know. Roy Thomas just wasn't that good. After those stories were done, after he adapted all those stories, it just wasn't that good of a writer on Conan, and I don't think anybody else ever was.
Had Robert E. Howard lived a long life and kept writing Conan far into it, I don't know if he would be able to keep it up, because like the later
he'd have to change his approach a bit, I think, and do more like the other writers did, do more political intrigue or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, who knows?
Yeah, just thought I'd mention that.
So is this the longest death segment we've ever had?
I've still got some to go. We've got George Dunn, age 103, British Brill Cream boy, which means he was an RAF officer, and he flew 44 missions for Bomber Command during Second World War, destroying those Nazis. He got the Distinguished Flying Cross and later the Legion d'Honneur. He was born in Whitstable, Kent, and it says here
he was born in Kent.
Yes, that's right. He began his training as a wireless operator and an air gunner before retraining as a pilot in Canada. And Dunn flew 30 of his missions in a Handley Page Halifax, and he also did 14 in a de Havilland Mosquito bomber over Berlin. So yeah, and then this makes me laugh when you hear about what they do when they retire. He goes, when he Dunn left the RAF in 47 and returned to work for Pickford's, a removal company which he worked for prior to the war. So basically, he just went back to his normal life. So the war was just one segment of his life. You know what I mean? He didn't sort of like get another job completely. He just went back to what he was doing. So yeah, that's a sort of gutsy person we had in our countries, and I include obviously with countries yours, Canada, and Australia, New Zealand. Next up, we have.
So a Brill Cream boy is different from a rent boy, right?
Brill cream is what Brill cream is. It was a white sort of waxy thing you would get, and you'd put it into your hair, and you would gel your hair up. That was Brill cream.
I saw there's something about Mary. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the joke with the Brill cream boys. So next up, we have somebody whose death went without anybody talking about it hardly, especially as the massive films coming out about the character. Roger Sweet, age 99, American toy designer and creator of fucking He-Man.
Wow.
He was the lead designer in Mattel's preliminary design department, which created He-Man and the Masters of the Universe toy line in 82.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it just basically talks about bits and bobs about that.
I got the guy again, the behind the scenes, the other live stream that I do, which hadn't happened for over a month now. They're shitting themselves about the He-Man movie, and in their chat they're posting pictures of the toys that they found at Walmart and the special editions, and they're having a grand old time. So again, 10 years is a lifetime as far as pop culture goes, and not my scene, but I'm really happy that they're happy. And I mean, it's quality shit. If it meant something to me, I'd be like all over it too, probably. So
well, it says here, according to his book Mastering the Universe, He-Man and the Rise and Fall of a $1 billion Idea, Sweet made He-Man with the idea that that the character's simplicity would make it effective. He explained to Mattel's marketers that this was a powerful figure that could be taken anywhere and dropped into any context because he had a generic name. He-Man. There we are.
Hey, good.
So that's him. Next up, we have Alfred Sloat, age 99. You must know this person, Mr. Ross, because he's an American children's author.
What was his name?
Alfred Sloat, S-L-O-T-E. He did books.
Yeah, I've heard the name.
Okay.
Finding
Buck McHenry. He did
Go ahead.
Robot Buddy series. He had a Robot Buddy series, but he did stuff like My Trip to Alpha, The Devil Rides with Me, and other fantastic stories. Clone Catcher, Make Believe Ball Player.
These
The
are
biggest
all.
Robot Buddy.
These are all
Yeah.
books
He had
that
My Robot
came
Buddy,
out-
Collar, A Tale of Outer Space, Omega Station, The Troubles. Oh, fuck me, that was funny. The Troubles on Janus. I was thinking Uranus. So it's 4 in the Buddy series.
So the reason why he stumped me for a while there is he was around when I was a kid, when I was actually like the age to read those books, and then they went out of print before I started working in romance. So and just never reprinted. Once in a while we'll
Right.
get asked by someone our age. Me and my boss will get asked by someone our age, like, "Oh, do you have?" And she'll look at me and I'll go like, "Oh yeah, I remember that author," but you know, a lot of that stuff, unless somebody owns a copy, scans it, or takes a picture of their collection of it and puts it on the internet, it is completely memory hold. Like the
Yeah.
libraries don't have them anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I think a lot of his book. I don't know, but it looks like a lot of his books might be out of print.
Yeah.
Right, next up, we have Gordon Snell, age 93, a British author of children's literature.
Author
God,
piano.
they're dying like flies.
I know, and he was married to Irish author Maeve Binchy.
Ooh,
Oh God, she's
Maeve
famous.
Binchy, wasn't it?
That's what I said, Maeve Binchy.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So the
Short story writer, columnist. Novels were characterised by a sympathetic and often humorous portrayal of small-time life in Ireland. But this gentleman did his main works were stuff like Dangerous Treasure, The Mystery of Monk Island, The Curse of Werewolf Castle, The Phantom Horseman, The Case of Mystery Graves, The Secrets of the Circus, The Library Ghost, and Fear at the Festival. So quite a few stuff, and it says
he
here.
outlived his wife.
Yeah,
were they a series? Was that a series of mysteries or just?
that was just notable works.
Because I think I remember the Phantom Stallion. You said
The Phantom Horseman.
Phantom Horseman.
The Supermarket Ghost. That was 2012. That was the latest one on here. It says.
Oh my! When I was working downstairs in the adult books, grown-up book section, we like no man ever, but no woman under the age of 60 ever asked for Maeve Binchy. It was like, "Do you have that nice Maeve Binchy? They just go down so nice and soft and warm."
Did they make some movies over her books as well? Didn't they?
They did, yeah.
It's like Hallmark.
It's always interesting when like the couple are both writers, because Dan and his missus, Dan Abnett and his missus, they're both writers. So
What does Dan's Mrs. Wright?
She wrote a book, which the only one that I know of, because we got it. I was given a manuscript to check it because it involved autistic people, savants.
Oh.
So she said, just write in there what you think, and so I wrote down, yeah, that was right. There was nothing in there that was wrong, and it was really good. So and then she gave us the actual book when it came out and signed it to us. That was quite nice. But she does different type of writing to Dan. But she does help him when he's got he's got fucking loads of pokers in the fires all over the place, hasn't he? So
Okay.
anyway.
Does he?
Go.
Well, I mean, he's not dead or anything, so I want to move on. But does she use the last name?
Yes, she does have the last name. I think no. I think she used their other name, but she might use it in some stuff. Anyway, next up, the final one. Here it comes. Tony Wilson, age 78, Trinidadian, co-founder of Hot Chocolate. Wilson, who had
believe in miracles.
Well done. He'd written songs for the likes of Herman Hermits and Mary Hopkin before his Hot Chocolate days. He left the band to pursue a solo career in 75, reportedly after their producer began pushing Brown as primary lead singer. But he co-wrote all their biggest hits. Let's have a look. Oh God, Brother, The Sexy Thing, Brother Louie, MS, stuff like that. But another one of those things where things don't go quite the way you are, and certain people leave the band. But yeah, he's another one of those ones where a couple of their songs will be known forever and they'll always pop up all over the place in the strangest of locations. I mean, the strangest thing is when you're driving around America and then your radio station just fades out and another one fades in with completely different types of music on. It's fucking hilarious. And that's when you hear.
Yeah, I just remember him being bald. I don't remember
Well,
him
that
with
was the
hair at
lead
all.
singer was bald.
Yeah, yeah.
Errol Brown, I think the lead
Oh,
singer.
yeah. He's
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's all the deaths. Woo!
We did it! You did it, John!
Oh, got to the end. I wish it'd stop
Yay.
dying so quickly.
What?
I wish it'd stop dying so quickly.
Well, I mean, not only was it a long list, but that was quite a weave too.
And we had nobody die at 82. We had 83 and 81 and 80. So we've got people close by, but not the magic 82.
So by those,
well, me and
metrics,
Rossy already did the death. Me and Rossy already did the death of the comic book industry. So we'll
yeah.
Kickstarter corner. What you got, Rossy?
I got a notification that that Power Ranger movie's going to be playing in theaters, and then eventually I'll get my Kickstarter shit. There was one that looked pretty good, and I keep forgetting the name of it. It's like Mexi something. Basically, it's that. Well, remember I was telling you like that girl power force go roller skate rock and roll whatever that. I backed it like a while back and just to see how close it was to the G Ranger thing I was working on at the time. And it was weird because like just as I was telling you about it last time, because this Mexican quasi Aztec version of the same thing is coming to Kickstarter, they're doing a second issue of the Super Fun Power Go thing. That those ads started coming up on my feed, and I was like, ugh, I don't think so. I'll try the Mexican one, but I think I've seen enough of the other one. It's like I get it, and I think that was it. For reasons I'll get into later, much later, AP's kind of tightening the screws on the Monroe books, so that's got to happen sooner than later. Now that I can sit in a chair again, so that's the only.
What do you mean tightening the screws? They're giving you crap, saying, "Hey, get this done."
Not crap. They're actually being very nice about it. They understood, especially Joe Dunn being a doctor. He understood what I was going through, but.
You mean that you couldn't get the book together the last 3 years?
Well, for one reason or another. I mean, when you spend a month working on a translation for their book that they can't sell because the characters look underage.
Oh, God. I forgot all about that one.
It's easy to forget when you spend 2 weeks working on a trailer for a Kickstarter that they decide not to do. And you didn't mention it, but that big old pile of comics you should have in your house now as well.
I was going to mention that. Thanks very much for that.
Well, it was my pleasure. You deserved it, and I think you should be very proud because it was a team effort. So I can say this with.
I will frame the Chesty Sanchez one and put it up on the wall behind me.
And I'm honored to have that placed on your wall. I think the Jungle Comics as a series really, especially during the Valkyria run and during the run where we ran Kyla, those are pretty damn good looking comics, just taking a step back and pretending you didn't have anything to do with it. So, I'm pretty proud of it. And that was...
and it's a shame your comics look great too, but the problem is the paper quality was not the best. But I understand why though. Yeah,
I mean, it was a risk they were taking. Especially at the time, once they got the orders in, they were kind of like, well, I mean, we could still make it profitable with the cheaper printing, so that's what they
Well,
did.
listen, it doesn't look cheap. It's just inexpensive printing. I'll say
Yeah.
that. The trade paperback, is the trade paperback the same paper quality, or did they up it?
I think it is. And
Okay.
they justified it by saying that, it looked like Savage Sword of Conan magazines. So I was like,
which is good. Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
so,
I get it too.
So
all right,
but yeah, and Horseshoes of Yore. I mean, it wasn't like I was sitting on my hands for 3 years, so I made them some money.
right.
And all those comics I edited corrected for them as well.
Well, I'm still waiting on the Eduardo Rizzo book. I think it'll be this month. They should have it. And Kablam is really dragging their feet on the printing. So I sent them a message a couple of days ago. I haven't got a response from them, but I did look at where we're at with the printing and stuff, and it says that they are printing it. They are printing it at the moment, but it's taken them so long that I'm only going to give them one more chance. I think I'll do the Kyle of Treasury through them, and if I encounter the same slowness or the same problems, I'll probably go somewhere else for the next books. There is a place in Phoenix that prints comic books, and because they're local, it means they don't have to ship. I can just go down and collect them and ship them myself. So I might check out that from now on. What was that?
Okay.
Somebody on their phone?
No,
yeah, that was me.
Nope.
Give him a bunch of shit.
That's
Flint.
Sam doing a notification.
Give him a bunch of crap.
Yeah, John. No respect.
That's right. That was a notification come through from Sam telling me that he enjoyed his Mexican day down at Folkestone yesterday.
Oh.
It says, yesterday we had Mexican food at the harbour in Folkestone with Samuel, Cowlin and John. That's how he writes.
Well,
So that's it for Kickstarter Corner, really.
tell him muy bien.
All right, what about movies and TV shows?
Well, I watched one movie which we've had for a while waiting to watch, and it was the Peaky Blinders movie, The Immortal Man, starring Cillian Murphy, Rebecca Ferguson, Tim Roth, Barry Keoghan and Stephen Graham and a load of other people. 1 hour 52, 2026, 15 rated, 6.5 on IMDb. I gave it a 7. It was just basically like an elongated TV episode with a bit more explosives happening. You know what I mean? Like there's a bombing raid happening, a lot of people got killed in that bit at the beginning. Basically, the storyline is Tim Roth is a Nazi spy type person. They're trying to bring a load of, I think it was 350 million quid in fake notes into the British country. And then that will fuck the banks up and destroy the country so the Germans can come across. That was the whole storyline. And then Cillian Murphy had sort of like, he was writing a book and he just sort of retired from the Peaky Blinders sort of thing. But his son was doing a deal with Tim Roth and he got brought back into it to sort out the Nazi scum. So I can't understand that. I'm sure the BBC did it as a series and then Netflix got it to do this one film. And I'm like, I just don't understand why. I mean,
because the BBC can't afford it.
Well, I was going to say that as much as I detest the BBC and the way they do stuff, I cannot understand why they didn't hold on because I don't see. Well, they cannot be another Peaky Blinders with the main player. Spoilers. It's been out a few months. Cillian Murphy dies, and there ain't any coming back because he gets burnt in his gypsy caravan at the end. So there's the spoiler. So they can't be doing anything else. Well,
they probably can't afford them anyways.
Well, that's it. But the thing is, sometimes you get different times, different money. When Sharp was getting done,
that's a great series.
It is, yeah. Even when he was up and coming in other stuff, he still wanted to do more of them. So he would do that I presume, drop his rate slightly, because I know that this sort of stuff goes on, because they enjoy everything about it. Not only like the stories, but the camaraderie of the crew, the other members of the acting people who were involved in it. So it's sad to see it go, but it's done its stories. You can't be bringing it any further in, you know what I mean, into the future. It had to sort of stop before we sort of moved into the 50s and 60s sort of thing. So yeah, very nice, but couldn't understand why it could have just been 2 episodes put together. That's what it looked like, apart from the extra money spent on screen. So,
Right.
But that was that. TV wise, I'm up to date on absolutely everything. So Daredevil, enjoying that. I mean, there's a funny bit. Well, a certain character got killed the other day, and I was like, he had to go. I didn't expect it when it went, but it was leading up to it. I think that's Cowlin. No, that's not. But one of the characters who's ex-SES, in one of the episodes, he says to somebody, this is the phrase that gets used, something, 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 Regiment 22. And I'm like, who the fuck's ever called the SAS that? It's either the SAS call themselves the regiment, or it's 22 SAS. Hardly anyone who says SES apart from the TV, but I've never ever heard it said Regiment 22. For a start, the British military, if your regiment squadron ends in a 0, you'll say like I was in 20 squadron, right? But if you're in 51, you wouldn't say 51 squadron, you say 51. So when I was in 49 squadron, I was in 49, not 49. Knowing I was in the regiment which had all the bomb disposal, was 3-3 Engineer Regiment. They had 49. So fucking hell, I'm going mad now. 49 squadron, 5-8 squadron, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. But yeah, so to say 22 is completely wrong. But so I'm enjoying that. Marshals, it's gone from a one and done to a 2 episodes elongated story. They've all every episode seems to, well, every first episode of 2 ends with to be concluded or continued, and then you get the next episode and they'll finish that story off. And that's where we're at the moment with one of them. But
it's
enjoying it.
Soap opera now, right?
Oh yeah.
It's
The Boys,
more,
absolutely
it's
hilarious.
less of a procedural and more of a soap opera around it, I think.
Shepherd's pie with some potatoes. I'm not going to do dumpling.
The missus is giving them his orders.
Mm-hmm.
We're not having shepherd's pie now. We're going to have some potatoes.
Don't forget to put some cheese on it, because it's bland.
Put some American cheese on
It
it.
wouldn't be shepherd's pie anyway, because it's beef. It's big cottage pie.
No, it would have been cottage pie.
There you go. There you go. I was just pointing that out to Rossy. Tell Cass I was just pointing that out to Rossy.
Rossy thinks you can have cheese on top of them.
Oh no.
There we are, Rossy.
You know, Jodie's husband got shepherd's pie changed at the Sandals Resort because it was with beef, and he said technically that's cottage pie.
That's in Jamaica, was it?
It was somewhere in the Caribbean. He said, so you either need to change the meat or change what you're calling it, and they did.
Yeah. Well,
so that's it, Mr. Ross.
Rossy thinks you boil the shepherd's pie because you boil every other food over in the UK.
Yeah.
How rude. How rude. I don't know. Honest to God. Right.
Let me see you next year, Rossy. You're going to get a punch in the face.
Drawing from this
Give him a clip around the ear.
Listen, if you ate one of my roast potatoes, you've never eaten a roast potato like it.
They're boiled too, Rossy.
Yeah, probably. When you come back to the States, we'll go to Lucky Baldwin's and you can authenticate the food.
Yes.
Make sure there's enough peas and everything.
Yes. So anyway, on the episode of The Boys, let me scroll down I sent myself in Messenger loads of words what that was said, because I was laughing so much and everything. The Boys. So Homelander said, who gives a fuckistan about something? Then somebody else says, when has God blessed Canada? Soldier Boy says, I fucking hate LA, and I laughed and laughed at that.
It's true.
The dog, the butcher's dog, has a dream about shagging Homelander, which is hilarious. I love the bit where you get these supernatural characters meet up again, the main stars from Supernatural, because they've got loads of very in-jokes posters on the background.
That'll be, you'd have to have watched the show to get those, but that would be funny.
Homelander's reaction to Seth Rogen, his reaction, in fact, to the whole group of people who were playing cards was brilliant, as if like they were just below him. He just didn't even think they were worth anything. His reaction to the group posting memes, that was quite funny. And the groups, there was a few things that were really funny. The group saying that Homelander is rounding up the cool people like hookers, drug dealers, and they want to ban porn and abortions. I was laughing at that. The clip that I showed you is where Soulja Boy says, "Nobody fucks my son but me," followed by, "That came out wrong." This bit I actually guffawed because it was just brilliant. When Seth Rogen, spoiler, he gets ripped in half. He looks up and he goes, "Is it bad?"
It's a shame that's not real life.
Yeah, and then this one, Soulja Boy uses a variation on Flint's because fuck you, that's why. So I enjoyed. As soon as he said that, I went, "Ah, Flint."
Oh, he got that from Uncle Pat.
But the thing is that I mean, like I said, I've read other stuff where people are not happy with it. I'm just laughing and laughing and laughing because it's absolutely hilarious. I'm just thinking.
The people that aren't happy with it are the ones that probably read the comic book and went, "Oh, it's not close to the book at all."
Yeah. I'm just laughing because it's just like how much more can be crossed the line in so many bits of it. It's just fucking brilliant. So I'm watching all them sort of things. So I'm very happy with everything. So we're up to date on absolutely everything. Even on the TV, I'm up to date on stuff that I want to watch. So I think we just got a few holiday programs. You know, where there's one where one of the people's in China for 3 episodes. One of the one we started watching last night. There's only 3 episodes. It's in Egypt. So quite nice sort of things. Just seeing little bits and bobs. But there's nothing series wise that I'm at the moment into, so I did manage to get right up to date, Mr. Ross, with my time off.
What have you been watching, Rossy?
So the only so we can have time to do the Prog. The only thing that the only thing I wanted to check with you guys. I'm late to the party. I saw a movie called The Gorge. Did either of you?
Oh yeah, I've watched that.
Either or both. All right, so I'll give you my quick review, and then let me confirm if it was what you said about it as well. So the premise is that there's a gorge, and there's 2 outposts on either side of it. One's manned by a single American, and the other one's manned by a single Eastern European woman. And then there's this misty gorge down below, and they don't know why they're there, and they don't know where they are, and it's all top secret. And then the first hour of the movie is sort of a meet cute romance because the American is a handsome young man and the Eastern European is a woman. It's Anna Taylor-Joy, who looks like she's 13 years old, but you know, she's attractive and she's female, and so they have a meet cute, fall for each other over a long distance, and then they get together, and then one of them falls into the gorge, and then there's like tree monster people, mutants in there because it's part of an experiment, and they have to get out. And then it turns out there's spoiler for an old movie. There's an evil corporation behind it, and so things explode. Now, the problem with this movie.
What, one problem?
Yes. The overarching problem with this movie is that literally as every plot point is being introduced, even I, who am willing to let things slide, was going like, wait, what? And then when they would reveal, as they were having the big reveals at the end, it made the wait, what's the beginning even stupider instead of explaining them. And there was a lot of stuff that I was thinking like, I'm not John Burtis, and I've never served in the military or had any first hand experience with weapons or mechanical vehicles or jeeps or stuff like that. But I don't think they work that way. And the other thing, you know, the meat-eating barbarian man of me looks at Anya Taylor-Joy, and I'm like, okay, so you don't have to be physically imposing or particularly strong to be a great sniper, but she's doing a lot of things in this movie that I'm having a tough, and it's not girl boss issues per se. It's like she's getting dragged down this river at double digits miles per hour and getting her head knocked on rocks and trees and everything. And she climbs out and she's okay. And then she gets dragged by a horse and she gets her head knocked on a tree and the rock and whatnot. And at one point, she does get knocked unconscious, but it takes a lot to knock her out being dragged by a horse. And then she wakes up, she's hanging from the ceiling in the evil mutant tree man's lair, and she's got like a branch sticking through her chest that he twists and half pulls out. And then for the second half of the movie, she's doing Indiana Jones stuff in the Jeep and fighting guys and all this stuff. And again, she's doesn't even come up to the guy's shoulder. She's very petite in her build, and she looks like she's 13 years old. And even when she was doing Furiosa, it didn't seem that ridiculous because her character was supposed to be young, and you know, she wasn't doing quite, she was doing athletic fighting stuff, but not quite at this level. So to me, it didn't seem as silly. But this one, I was kind of like, oh, come on. But there was like the whole setup about the two bases, the two outposts across the divide, and they're not supposed to talk to each other. They're not supposed to talk to anybody, but they have chess sets. Why would you each have a chess set if if you're not supposed to talk to anybody? It's just a bunch, literally every element of the plot, and I was like, I know, not to keep bringing it into everything, but if you didn't have AI generate your actual words for the script, but you just said, hey, Chat GPT, does gasoline go bad after 4 or 5 decades? Would you be able to run a Jeep on it? Kind of, and it said, it's unlikely that you'd probably get it to actually work. Maybe you could use it for consulting things. Maybe you could use it for weapon stuff. If you had, how many people are in a battalion, John?
Oh God, that's we don't have them over here, but I'd say it's probably 1,000.
Okay, so if you have these monsters,
I think we have them in Scotland, actually. So that's a lie.
So if you have these monsters that are mutated,
300 to 1,000.
Yeah, I just found that.
So on the higher end of things, if you have these mutated soldiers and it's a battalion, and now granted they didn't say how many battalions were down there, but probably only for the experiment they were running, probably only one, maybe some families. The scene that shows you the pre-monster men for the first time, that they call the Hollow Men, because again, the crack shot assassin dude also happens to write poetry. On top of looking like Miles Teller, he also writes poetry. And it's like, of course they fall for each other because you got to work a romance in there. Anyway, they show what looks like hundreds of these things trying to crawl their way out of the gorge, and they're just like plowing machine gun fire, and there's automatic weapons, and the whatever kind of gun they used in the Dread movie with the revolving, what do you call that, John? The cannon light, the big gun that they had on the mount.
On the mount, that looked like sort of like a minigun type of thing of 50 cals and stuff like that.
Right. So both of them had, on both sides of the mountain, they both sides of the gorge, they had those kind of guns, and they were like, and now granted, they're not supposed to speak to each other, but it kind of would have made sense that they could coordinate their defenses if this happened, which apparently, I don't know if it's happened before, but they've been doing this for apparently 50 years, since World War II. So, or at least the Cold War. So anyway, there was like every aspect of it made zero sense whatsoever. And, as somebody who likes goofy old Roger Corman exploitation movies and things that don't make sense and unlikely stunts and unlikely action set pieces that somebody would actually live through this. For this one, I just, every time some new thing came in, it would take me out of the story and be like, oh, please. Partially because they clearly spent a lot of money on this thing. But again, it's that streaming thing where it's like 2 stars, an elder star, in this case, Sigourney Weaver, who was clearly brought in for like 2 or 3 days of filming. So her name would be the 3rd star on the credits. And a lot of special effects, which varied in quality. The drones at the end didn't look very good. So, I don't know, man. What did you think of it, John?
He already said what he thought about it when he watched it.
Yeah,
but refresh my memory, or in case our listener missed it.
it was all crap, and the places that you said it was crap. The only thing that I enjoyed was just the fire going across the gorge when you got the trace of fire and things like that. But everything about it was just ridiculous. I'm sick of watching things where a child can beat up everything around her. I mean, I was watching something last night, and it was a very thin female character beating up these blokes, and I'm just in disbelief watching it going. It's just like you're jumping up, getting your legs around his neck, and then sort of swinging your body around, and then throwing him over you. I'm like, that doesn't happen. You're tiny. Don't you understand? He is 2 to 3 times the weight and size of you, and you can't do that. That doesn't work. That's not physics. But in this, it was loads of stuff. It was just, as you say, why do they need a radio to talk to each other when they're not supposed to know about this, that, and the other? And amazingly, they can speak the same language as they need to and all that. It's just loads of stuff.
So Flint, to speed things along on the back of all that, you saw a movie about a petite child beating up men.
I watched 2 movies, and I'm near the end of a mini-series, a documentary.
Oh.
Right. The 2 movies I saw were Metropolis and Bugonia.
Oh, okay.
Right, and Metropolis was the Kino Lorber version. It's 148 minutes long. And I had the extra 25 minutes included in there of the footage that they found in Buenos Aires in Argentina. And they stuck it in there and restored it as best as they could. But today, if they were to release that today, they could use AI on that and make it perfect to make it match. Because you can see the parts where they had found this footage and inserted it in. Pretty good. I can see why it was it was one of the most expensive movies made at the time, and it was a massive flop. Didn't make that much money, but Hitler loved it for obvious reasons. For obvious reasons, if you look at it, you can see why he liked it. And he tried to convince Fritz Lang to become his propaganda guy for making movies and stuff. And Fritz Lang said, "Fuck this," and fled to the United States. The actress in it is fantastic because she plays a few roles in it. She's 2 roles really. One of Maria, the Christian leader that's trying to give they're waiting for this mediator guy to be able to mediate between upstairs and downstairs, more or less, where all the workers are. They have their own little hovel, underground city, and she's a religious type. And then she gets her personality and everything else gets not her personality, her whole look and everything gets transported onto the machine, the robot. Maria, who's evil, and the differences between her acting in both roles is fantastic. Really good actress, and I think she fled. What's funny about her is she not funny. She accidentally killed somebody. It ran over him in a car accident, and Hitler pardoned her. And then, she fled the country then because she wanted nothing to do with Nazism, even though Hitler pardoned her. So, yeah, it was a very, very interesting movie. You don't notice the time fly by because it's over 2 hours, and you don't notice the time fly by. There's some really cool stuff. And I said to Murray, he says, you can't really compare it today. I mean, I can understand why they won't remake this movie, because it's so iconic that there's no way they could remake it and do it justice. But you can see how it inspired other movie makers. I said to Marnie, said, I see bits of Blade Runner in this. And then funny enough, I watched a bit of the documentary on the DVD after, and he said, oh, Blade Runner was inspired by this. I'm like, okay, there you go. Yeah. So it holds up really well. The visuals are amazing. Some of the buildings have, I don't know if it's in German or did just have weird words written on some of the buildings, and I swear, Rossy, if you looked at it, you go, that's AI, because it's all spelled wrong. But it was really good. The second movie I watched was Bugonia, and I think that would be right up your alley, Rossy. You got 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb and 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's the one with Emma Stone and Creepy Todd from Breaking Bad, Jesse Plemons. He kidnaps. Go ahead.
No,
what were you going to say? What were you going to say?
Well, I'm always going to go for the Asian option. I have the Korean version of it.
Oh, Bugonia?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a remake of an Asian version.
Yeah, it's called Save the Green Planet or something like that.
Oh, okay. I'll have to watch that. I'll have to write that down now to see the differences.
Yeah.
Well, he plays a guy that believes that aliens are poisoning the planet. Mm-hmm. And Emma Stone is one of the Andromedans that's poisoning the planet, and she's a top CEO of this massive company, pharmaceutical company, and it shows her routine of the day and everything else, and it shows his routine of the day, and him and his cousin comes across as being very simple. They kidnap her and want to find it. They shave her head because they believe that that's how she's transmitting. She's able to transmit waves to this mothership through her hair. So they shave her head, keep her in the basement, and they said, we want you to contact the mothership, and I need to have a talk with the emperor, and she's like, fuck, dude, I'm just a CEO. I'm like a CEO of a company. What are you doing? So it's all this kind of stuff going on, and then there's some weird stuff later on. I liked it, but I hated the ending. The ending was garbage.
I think it's a totally different ending too, from what I've heard.
Right, so I'll have to watch the original then, because the ending of it was complete garbage, and I'm like, what the fuck? There was one funny moment just before the ending though that had Jesse Plemons in it. That was I cracked up laughing at it after everything he went through, and then this one thing happens at the end. But really good movie. I won't spoil it, but I enjoyed it, but I hated the ending.
Okay.
So there's that, and I've been watching the Hulk Hogan documentary on Netflix, all about the wrestling, and how he started off and everything else. And it's a warts and all documentary. It shows him some things in a bad light. When he was the big superstar and he was getting on in years, and they needed someone to take over from him, because he's the one that basically more or less wrestled the WWF at the time. It wasn't the WWE. The WWF at the time was basically Hulk Hogan. I mean, Hulk Hogan was the big ticket. Right.
Yeah.
And so he's getting on in years, and they needed someone to replace him. So they had the Ultimate Warrior, that guy, and he was lame. Right. They were talking about how bad he was, the Ultimate Warrior guy was, and they show all the fuck ups that he's trying to cut promos. He goes, "Oh shit, let's do that again." He was just terrible, and so they decided instead of him, then they'd bring Bret the Hitman Hart would be the one to take over, and he had a huge following, and. And he was the next best thing. And Hulk Hogan was kind of like in retirement. And so when Hulk Hogan saw Bret the Hitman Hart get all the plaudits and take all the fame, he said, I think I need to come out of retirement. And he had a talk with Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon agreed. Yeah, the Hulkster can come back. And they took the belt off Bret the Hitman Hart. And Bret, and they had an interview with Bret Hart. He's like, fuck you. Even today, he's like, what they did was bullshit, because times had moved on. The Hulkamania thing, and that was kind of dying down. It had its moment, and the Hulk was pushing on in years too. He was in his late 30s trying to do this stuff, and Bret Hart was the one that was supposed to take over, and they kind of fucked over Bret Hart. So he has really hard feelings over it. And then they had Go ahead.
They fuck him over in Canada? Wasn't there a match where they said he was going to win, and he actually got screwed out of the
Yeah.
And it was in his hometown of Canada or something.
I think so. Yeah. Well, what happened is Hulk, he's getting beaten so badly, Bret Hart, that Hulk just runs down to the ring, jumps in the ring, and beats the crap out of a bad guy on behalf of Bret Hart, and then takes his belt. That's how he did it. It was done so bad. It was done so bad. But he had like Dusty Rhodes on there, King Kong Bundy. That's his name, right? King Kong Bundy. They had who was the American Dream guy? That was Dusty Rhodes, wasn't
it? Yes.
Right. So
probably Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, they didn't do interview Shawn Michaels, but he appears in it, and Dusty Rhodes' son is in there too. But they talked about how what was it? Vince McMahon, how he took over everything, and then Hulk then did retire, and then he started doing movies, and the movies were terrible. And he didn't like doing them either because he was sitting around for 14 hours a day waiting to get up and do 3 lines and then sit back down. So he was very antsy. So he wanted to go back into wrestling, and I think Vince McMahon says, "No, you're done. We don't want you. Your time has passed, more or less, right?" So he said, "Well, fuck this." So then he went to the WCW, right, which is a new outfit at the time, and they were struggling, and the guy met Hulk Hogan on the set, on one of the movie set. "Look, if you come in here and do this, you can have whatever you want. Whatever you want, it's yours. It's yours. If you can build this brand," because he was still a name. So that's when he changed from a good guy to a bad guy, and became Hollywood Hogan.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, and he had the New World Order with Kevin Nash and Razor Ramon, right? And they gave the WWF a run for its money because they got the high ratings. Right, and so they were doing really well until they brought into the script writer, and the script writer was responsible for these storylines, and he was basically the Jerry Springer of wrestling, right?
Yep.
And he more or less ruined the brand, and their ratings slumped and everything else, and then Vince McMahon ended up buying the WCW, and so Hulk Hogan couldn't get out from underneath Vince McMahon. It was really interesting. And then Vince McMahon called him, no hard feelings, because Vince McMahon knows business. He said, "Hey, Hulk, why don't you come back one last time and bring back the yellow and red, all American thing." And he had his last match with The Rock. Whereas more or less handing over the torch. And the Undertaker's in it as well. They show some clips of the Undertaker fighting Hulk Hogan, and they have the Andre the Giant big WrestleMania match where Hulk lifts Andre the Giant over his head. But they went through some of the scandals as well, like when he was doing steroids, and he said he wasn't doing steroids, and it's obvious he was. And they were all doing steroids. Then they had the trial. I remember the trial where Vince McMahon turns up at the court trial, because they said that he was giving the wrestlers drugs, the steroids, and Hulk Hogan testified and said that no, Vince McMahon didn't give me anything like that. So, but Vince McMahon, a complete showman, he goes into the court with a brace around his neck as if he hurt his neck. And he didn't. He's just doing it to get sympathy, kind of thing. But it was very interesting how they did things. Of course, Trump is interviewed in it too, and he's president. So it's very recent. The documentary must have been made like 2 months ago and then released, just straight after his death. But it's really good. I'm sure the last part now, I'm going to watch the last part tonight, and I'm sure that will go through all the Bubba the Love Sponge shit and the breakup with his wife, and I'll probably go through all that tonight. But he was in terrible health towards the end. I mean, he was working out his arms and his upper body, but his legs look so thin. It's the same with all these guys, these muscle guys. They'll go and they'll pump themselves up, but they'll leave their legs alone. They won't do leg day. So they look like there was a guy I worked with at Fox, and he's a guy that would go to the gym every day. He'd only work out his upper body, right? He'd never do his legs, and so he'd look like a chicken.
He looked like a swole Doge, the swole Doge meme. So
all you have to do was just tip him, and he'd fall over because his legs were so weak. And that's what at the end of his life, Hulk was. He needed a cane to walk around with, because all the injuries he got from wrestling, all the jumping around and getting slammed, and his knee was in bits. He should have sorted his knee out a long time ago. He had to get his knee operated on, and the doctor said if he had done this when it first started giving him problems, he would have been fine. But he just kept on carrying on with all the injuries. good documentary. He does say that he did some stupid things, made a lot of mistakes, and it's interesting because it shows him very vulnerable. Not the way his ego. He had a massive ego. How his ego got in the way of everything. So it's an interesting documentary. I'm on the last part tonight, so we'll see how that goes. And that's it for me.
You saw Red Sonja too, talking about.
Oh shit! Women. Yeah, I completely forgot because it's so bad.
Which tells you what you need to know.
Yeah, you know what? That's funny because I spent like 3 or 4 days watching it, and I couldn't believe how bad it was. It's just not Red Sonja for me. No. It was just, it was like the end where she comes across. She doesn't even kill the bad guy. He just dies because he got stabbed by his lover, and it's like what the hell? And then she forgives him. This guy has killed so many fucking people, and you're like, well, we have to give him a high cranian death because I respect me bollocks. See how many people that fucker killed, right? Yeah. And then they do the whole child thing where you see them, they kind of like talking to each other, sitting down, and he's dying, and then it does a flashback as if they were kids talking to each other. It's like the smarmiest, pathetic.
There must have been a mandate to make it like female goddess healing instead of killing and death and brutality. It's like nurturing, and because the whole thing about the goddess in the woods and the tree, and
all the actors are English. All the actors except she might be, but all the rest of them are English, except for Ron and Mitra and the main bad guy. They all have English. All right, governor, let's go.
Well, Rona Mitra's, I think she's
English too, isn't she? Yeah, she's English. So they're all English.
Yeah.
So they're all English except for the emperor is Irish. Like, come on, lads, let's go down here now. Come on. It's fucking terrible shit. It was one of the worst things I've watched, and Tubi shows some garbage on it, some like B movies, 80s B movies that are just garbage. It's not even good enough to get on Tubi.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I was a little too kind to it, but it's like I saw where they're coming from, and just that they got anything out, basically, with all the behind the scenes stuff going on,
they had too much going on in the movie as well. They had so much stuff going on that they just shoehorned as much as they could in there with different, the power thing, the like where he gets his power from. It adds a big explosion that takes out half the city, but she's okay. Then they have the book. He has to find the second half of the book. There's just so much going on. I did like the Cyclops part.
Right.
That was pretty cool. But I mean, overall, it was a mess. And you knew that the guy with the prince. Oh, I'm a prince. He'd arrive at the end with the army to save the day.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing too is like they're kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't, because they don't have Robert E. Howard actual source material. It's from the comics. But if they tried to make it like the comics, they would also end up making it a lot like Xena Warrior Princess, and then or they could try to make it like the Dynamite comics, but the Dynamite comics really aren't that great for how many of them out there are. There's a few of them that are pretty good, and then the rest of it's just kind of like bland but okay.
But they did some but they did some really stupid stuff like when the what's her name, Denise or whatever, the white-haired warrior woman, when she stabs her Red Sonja, and Red Sonja falls to the ground as if she's dead, and the horse knocks her over, right? They're both lying on the ground. It's like later on the Emperor goes, "She's still alive. I thought you said she was dead." Like, wouldn't she have got up and noticed that her body was gone?
Yeah.
So there's stuff that just stupid stuff.
I did a little deep dive, and the writer's pretty young, so they must have paid her like, in credit or exposure.
Yeah. Well, they did the same thing that John hates, where the 10 bad guys go to Russia, but they all get in line to go there one at a time.
Yeah, and the woman who plays Red Sonja, she clearly trained She trained for that movie. You know, she didn't come to it like, oh, I'm a great.
No,
martial
she was
artist,
pretty okay. She was pretty. The only problem with her,
but she was okay.
she needed to, you know, put some tissue down the front of her bra, you know, to pump those up a bit.
Right, and that's the other problem too. Is like, you know,
She didn't look athletic. She did. She looked. She looked. She she looked like a long distance runner. She didn't look like,
Yeah.
you know, Lucy Lawless looked as if she had some meat on her.
Right.
Right.
She looked like
So-
she could lift a rock or something.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
girl
well-
looked
well-
like, yeah,
No, yeah, and that's not her fault. That's just the way she's built.
sure. I mean, she was
So-
an okay enough actress, but so anyway, you think we can do a Prog in 15 minutes?
Well, we'll try.
Okay.
Let's drog.
Pew, pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert, Dibble, Grub.
Okay, we have Prog 2480. We can do your stories first, Rossy.
Okay, I'll try that too.
With that'll be good. All right, we have a cover by Joe Curry, Sepsis Tank, which is a play on the
Wow.
word septic tank, which means yank, which
That's
2000 AD has just recently started to sell weekly into the American market. And the minute Americans find out that that's slang and derogatory, I don't think this will sell.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
couldn't
think we're
believe
going to
it.
care.
The
We
thing
don't
is,
understand the rhyming slang thing, so
yeah,
it
but
doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't matter, is it? It's like, even if you find out months down the line or a year down the line, then you go, hang on, so that's what you think of us, because it's a jokey terminology, but it's basically like you put on the front cover. You know what I mean? I bet they wouldn't put it on the front cover about any certain other things around the world, but America, yeah, we want to get your big dollar, but we'll still slag you off constantly all the time. They're just hypocrites.
They should sell it in Muslim countries, but have it wrapped in bacon.
Yes.
That's, you know,
Or have a picture of Muhammad on the front. If
There
they
you go.
Or a picture of Dread deporting people that says, "Packy your bags."
Okay, no.
you know, this cover is kind of weird. I like it, but I don't like it as a cover.
I don't like the background colour. I think that's the problem for me. I like the
Yeah.
imagery, but the background, it blends in too much with the monster.
Yeah, I like the art. I like the cover, but it doesn't sell anything to anybody.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell what it is, especially if you're just walking by.
Do you like the candy floss trees?
Yeah, and the one large breast.
That's pretty funny. Oh well.
Mm.
Anyways, we got a new story coming up at Drift. New series by Picky O'Carroll and Stas Johnson. So that looks good. Stas Johnson's a good artist, so that'll be interesting to see. Judge Dredd, Silent Witness, Tom Tully, Nick Dyer, John Charles, and Annie Parkhouse.
Am I doing this one or is it John?
Oh, what was that?
Judge Dredd, Silent
I
Witness.
thought Rossy was getting his done first.
Oh shit! Let's do Rossy first. Which ones do you do, Rossy? You do Brink, The
Brink,
Call of the
sure.
Void, Dan Abnett, Angel Colbard, and Simon Boland.
Okay, so basically, real fast, Bridget's reporting to Samuel L. Jackson, telling him about the extra person that her friend Gita is seeing on the ship as they head out to where the event happened, and they spend like a page clarifying exactly what that means. Like, is it a person? Is it an actor? Is it an extra crew person? Trying to wrap their heads around it. So then later, Bridget and Gita meet through the hologram communication systems that they have. And so Gita instructs her crew to just keep to their cabins and keep to the labs. And Bridget's just going to walk around the ship and see what she can see. And there's a page of her walking through the empty ship, and it's beautifully drawn. And the artwork and colors is amazing. And then, like, there's a little silhouette, and she turns around, and then there's the silhouette again, and she says, "No, didn't see anything."
All right, same old, same old.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really well done. The artwork, especially walk around the ship, was really well done. So it's a good chapter 9. So there you go.
What do
Yeah,
you think,
fine.
John?
John.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to do a page count at the end of the whole of the whole of Brink, and do panels with talking heads to the amount of panels that don't have talking heads.
Yeah.
And then, even with all, because we know it's a high number, be able to say it was still a good read, and visually it was entertaining.
Yep.
Because, like I say before, we've said many times, with other people, this would just be like, oh my God, but it isn't. And I thoroughly enjoyed the way it moved from all the chit chat, and she has that screen at the bottom of page 3 where she's got the reflection of herself as she's walking past, and then we get into the absolute silence of the corridors, and it really is nicely claustrophobic. It gives me a sort of alien feel.
Yeah.
As we're seeing her feet, the expressions as she's looking back at stuff. The bottom of the 4th page, we've got that elongated corridor look. Turn it over and she's walking down it, and then you see that shadow of her head moving past her. So that's quite nicely intriguing, but she doesn't know she's seen something or nothing. But yeah, like I say, it's a very good part 9, was it?
Yeah.
It could be part 206, it wouldn't matter.
That's right.
Right. Tharg's Thrillers present Poster Girl Part 1 by Paul Starkey, Paul Marshall, Dylan Teague, and Rob Steen.
Okay, so there's this propaganda character called, the title is called Poster Girl, and I forgot the name. Oh, the character's name is Peggy, not to be confused with Peggy Carter from the MCU.
No.
And so they're trying to find the actress or whoever played this character. So there's a fellow who's the cameraman who's got a turban, and he can see through the camera, which is sort of like a floating drone probe droid type thing. And this sort of manly woman who has that haircut from like Judge Hershey. So they go on an assignment. There's an intern that's helping them out. They go to this hospital, which is the last address that the paychecks for this actress or whoever this person was got sent to. They go to a lab that has some more records, and it's being recorded by the camera. And they find footage on one of the hard drives of her wearing a different alternative costume, footage that nobody's seen before. And so they have another address to go to, and that's where they're headed. So there you go.
What do you think of that one?
It's an interesting start. I think Paul Marshall's artwork in this one was miles ahead of what he was doing in the last few Judge Dredd's.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's intriguing. As far as thrillers go, you kind of have to judge it when you get to the last one, really, but good.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I like the artwork. The story was like you say, an interesting opening. But the problem I have with the thrillers and the future shocks is they're just constant. It feels like they're constant. So when I inwardly groan when I see ones in the prog, especially when you get 2, you get a thriller and a future shock, because it just tells me that it's not being edited correctly. It's just like you're filling stuff in. And again, we have people who are doing this who are well known in the comic anyway. You feel as though they should all be from the new people, give them all a chance. But it just seems to be the same people all the time. So what? I don't know. But as with this one, I like the artwork. I like the positioning of the characters and the stuff. I did like the bit on the cam page, on the 4th page, where we get that look of them going through all the kit. That's quite nicely done. And on the final page, it's like, oh, we're off to another location. We went to one location. Now we need to get to another location.
We're making up the address.
That's right. Yeah,
Doesn't exist.
We'll just see how it goes.
All right. And you did.
He's got silver. He's got silver.
Who, Rossy has?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Where are we? Silver. Book 3, Malignant, Part 4, Michael Carroll, Joe Curry, and Simon Boland. All
right, so the French guy that found De Silva and De Silva are walking through the I guess, French countryside to get to her brother's kingdom or wherever he's living and ruling. So they decide to take shelter in a rundown windmill. I think he's kind of mulling over that they're going to start looking for him if he doesn't show up, because the humans that serve the sepsis have to be serviced by humans like him. While they're waiting, the windmill gets attacked by 3 of the creatures that look like the thing on the cover. So there's like 2 pages of her leaping out the window and fighting these things and tearing them apart and getting injured herself. And so he gives her some pig blood to try to get her to recuperate, but there's really not a lot. He offers himself to her. She says, no, that'll weaken us both, and just asks to be carried to the windmill. And I guess they're going to sleep it off during the day. The end.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Thought it was really good. Nice action-orientated episode, too. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I just thought the where she gets basically looks as though she's getting her chest ripped off in one scene, then she's getting eaten by another because she's right up to her waist. I would have liked a bit more detail on them to see what exactly was going on, but it was very interesting that out of nowhere they suddenly got the scent of them and came in for the kill. So I quite enjoyed that, and I liked at the end where she's wearing that. That sort of the hoodie he's made across just to sort of make it so she's okay in the sort of like the bit of daylight they have. But yeah, apart from that, very enjoyable.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, you want to do Dread next?
Why not?
All right, Judge Dredd, Silent Witness, Ken, Tom Tully Neiman, Nick Dyer, John Charles, and Annie Parkhouse.
A robbery happens in a taxidermy art shop, and as they escape, one of them puts their pistol down the back of one of the display's pants. It seems as if the spirit of one of the dead may still inhabit that very stuffed corpse as he watches the robbery unfold, and when Dredd arrives, he somehow manages to topple over, which shows Joe the Gat, just a slang term for weapon. DNA or prints lead them to the perps, and arrests are made. Back at the gallery, it seems that the owner, who was being done for money laundering, bought these stiffs from Recyc as unclaimed human remains. So it's off to be incinerated for them now, which doesn't go down too well with the spirit, who thinks he helped the judges out. I thought there was another left when you had to Recyc. They took everything, didn't they, from the...
Yeah.
Same as last week. Didn't they have something last week? They take everything, but they use everything but the soul. So what they why they got these stuffed bodies? And they use all that for food and everything.
They got them before the conveyor belt, maybe.
Yeah, but why?
So I mean, well, that's another question. I wasn't sure. So the way that they break apart, they look more like resin or ceramic mannequins.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's how modern taxidermy works. I don't know if that's true in the future. And it's like,
well, you best hurry up and go and see.
And so the other question is like it's being narrated by one of these supposedly dead creatures or mannequins or whatever. I'm just going to call it mannequins for the sake of whatever. So they're supposed to be dead, but they're not really. And I kind of get what they're trying to do it like as a unreliable narrator, I think, but it's confusing. I think it's supposed to be funny, but it's more confusing than funny. So I don't know. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I thought it was weird because initially I was like, well, where's this coming from? Is this a person who's one of those ones who gets paid to be a dummy? You know what I mean?
No, it's just supposed to be just a dummy, isn't it?
It's a corpse that has enough life in it that it can still narrate the story. I think.
Well, it's typical Rennie.
Yeah, it's ambiguous.
Makes no sense. Yeah,
it's ambiguous, purposely ambiguous. And to be fair, I think that the these one and done dreads have to be, especially for someone like him who's written so much. It's got to be hard to come up with something new. So,
well, he did say there's no more Dread stories to be written, but he's writing them.
yeah, well, he's cashing a check too, so good for him. He's got to making it work. But before we get to Helium, I will have to go, I'm afraid. So, if I had to pick, God, it's a tough choice. I will say that the thriller Phililler was actually better than the Dread story. I'll just pick Helium as my favorite, and then I got to really go.
Okay.
So. All right, gentlemen. I'll see you next week, I hope.
Farewell. Farewell.
Bye-bye. All right, keep going.
All right.
Toodle pip.
All right. Helium, Red October, Part 5, in Edgerton, Australian Nanny Parkhouse.
Right, here we go. Hodge is taken to see the king, and she's to give him heirs. And if she puts up a fight, then she'll be lobotomized. The king is a right old glub, and an obese, pustule-ridden twat, probably a pedo as well, who knows. Hodge is not up for this, and when it's said that any girl's sprogs are dropped, then they'll be eaten. She goes berserk and rushes him, only to be zapped unconscious again. That's when the king says that she should be taken to the surgeon to have her fixed. Oh my God. So, got to say, artwork, yet again, fantastic. Colours lovely. I love how it changes when you move different pages. You got that green sort of hue on the first two pages, then the sort of pinky red purplish on the next two when you get into See the Majesty. But yeah, when she gets zapped, the whole thing goes sort of a blue purple effect. Love it. I had a feeling that the king would be horrendous.
Yeah. His foot reminds me of remember Mad Max, the Fury Road.
God, yeah,
one guy with the foot. Yeah.
And it's in like a potty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh dear. So yeah, love the interactions, love the details all over it, and love the when we've seen like some of the military as well, they're all horrendously pustuled and boiled up as well. So
yeah. They do like one question: why is everything here so panto? We look like straight from a pantomime. Yeah, but great stuff. Beautiful artwork. United and Israeli, they're a great team.
Yeah,
fantastic team. All right, so what was your best, your favorite?
Well, mine's Helium. It's just that's the story I'll go to. I have a specific way of reading at the moment. It's Helium, Silver, then Brink, and then I'll just read the other two when I've got time. But they're the ones I want to read straight away.
Right, Helium would be my pick too. Close one between that and Silver, but I'll go for it for the grotesqueness of the strip. To Helium, yeah, great stuff. So
I was going to say we got a Thrills of the Future, haven't we? Adrift by Mike Cowell and Stas Johnson.
Yes.
On the so that looks interesting, and I did. I have noticed yet once again that all the adverts in this are for stuff that 2000 AD do, so they don't even get adverts from outside.
They probably don't sell enough to get outside advertising. Yeah, unless they do. You remember in the old days where they used to have like little small comic shops would say, "Hey, for back issues, go get it here," or you know.
Well, you've got that
ads, personal ads.
I mean, you've got the It Begins Judge Dredd magazine 492. I've got to say that picture is very, especially the top, very phallic.
You think Nick has been looking at Tom Tully's pee-pee?
No, I think he might have been. Then you got the Subscribe, the 2000 AD. Then you got Charlie's War, the Apex edition, which I don't think will sell. And then you got the Streets of Dan Francisco, complete case files, number 50.
Yeah, I went to a comic book store, a small place on Mill Avenue called Ash Comics. The owner, he had some Rebellion stuff in there, and he does have the case files in there for sale. The first time I've seen it actually, I don't see it at Samurai or the other chains. Just
Yeah.
just that one store, but they have a very eclectic collection. They have like sections on independent books and Garth Dennis and Daniel Close and all these different types. So
Yeah.
they have a huge variety, and the guy obviously likes the UK stuff because he had the Nemesis, you know, the Ultimate Edition they came out with. Not the
Oh
Ultimate,
yeah.
what was it called?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the Nemesis and
Yeah.
Slain stuff there. So
Ah,
yeah, if I wanted to get it for $26 or whatever, I'd just go down there.
I see.
So anyway, what were you gonna say?
I can't remember now.
About how to? Yeah, I don't think that Charlie's War is gonna sell either.
No, I think some of those just haven't done the numbers that they were expecting. You know what I mean? I mean, I've got two, and unless another one comes up that I really want, that's me finished.
You got the McMahon and the Boland one, haven't you?
That's right, yeah.
Boland one. Yeah, and I think they're doing a Steve Dillon one too, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, their numbers of pages are dropping compared to the price of the third. Now I know things go up in price. Things go up in price and they do stuff, but I'm happy to pay extra for the page amount that I've had in the previous ones. I don't want it to stay the same price and we lose like 20 pages. What's the point of that?
My issue is that there's not much difference between the page that they show, the original artwork, and the printed version.
Yeah.
I would prefer if they showed the actual pencils.
Yeah.
And then show the inked version, then show the published version. So you can see what the pencils look like. I'm more fascinated. Yeah, I'm more fascinated in the pencils. That's why I love that Robin Smith thing they gave away with the magazine. Where they showed his cover sketches and what the artist did with it. I like that a lot better. Today is Cinco de Mayo, John.
It's what?
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. What's that then?
It's you celebrate Mexican stuff. Cinco de Mayo.
Oh right.
It's also Tuesday, which is Taco Tuesday on Cinco de Mayo.
That's right, Taco Tuesday. Dear me. Well, I had tacos yesterday, so I was early.
It celebrates Cinco de Mayo is a celebration of Mexico's victory over the French.
Oh well, that's good.
At the Battle of Puebla in 1862.
You'd have thought Rossy would have mentioned this, wouldn't you?
He's not Mexican, dude.
Well, the French bit.
Well, he's got to mention how his ancestors beat up each other in 1862. He wouldn't know what side of the war to fall on that one.
That's it.
He wouldn't know whether he'd be Mexican or French.
Yeah. Oh dear. Oh, I've also got to say, damn you, Trump, and you're fucking making it expensive to go to the Grand Canyon.
Well, might as well make money out of you, Johnny foreigners.
That's it. Well, I've got my route on my map, so that little bit will be. I mean, the thing was, we were going to go to Williams and stay in the railway hotel thing, whatever it's called. Let me get my map up so I can get it correctly. There it is. Williams. Come on. Fucking hell. This mouse, I must get a new mouse. It does all sorts of weird things. The Grand Canyon Railway Depot, which is right in front of the Grand Canyon Railway and Hotel. Now, what would be funny if we'd got there, stayed for like 2 nights, and had the train up, because you get the train up, got to the Grand Canyon, and then they went, "Oh yeah, you're from England. It's $100 odd." And I went, "I ain't fucking paying that." And oh, the hell would have broken loose.
Well, see, that's yeah, that's a good job you're finding about it. Yeah, it's a good job you're finding about it now.
I know.
That's to keep out the rabble. Only the good people can pay that much money to go and see those sites. And
well,
but the thing is,
already.
The national park thing to pass. If you get that, you can go to all the parks.
Yeah.
So it'll be more worth your while if you're going to like 5 or 6 of the national parks.
Yeah.
It'll be worth your while to get paying it. But
you see, when we go to Moab, we're going to be going to the Archers National Park. But that's just a case of you pay your $30 and you're in. There's none of this $100 extra things. But then when you go down to Monument Valley area, there's a place just as good, which is very it's nowhere near as known as the Monument Valley, called the Valley of the Gods. And it has all them massive buttes. It's a 17-mile drive round trip sort of thing. And that looks fantastic because I've been doing all my research on that. So it's where we're going to drive from Moab to Page. That's that one route. We're going to take pictures of Monument Valley from the road and then go into the Valley of the Gods because it'll be better to be in there. And it's free. And now I never knew what boondocking was. It's staying there and you're off the grid completely. You're not connected to water or things like that, electricity. You've got to be self-sufficient because they mentioned it a lot, and I sort of did my research.
Like Rossy when he retires.
Oh yeah. So people can do that in the Valley of the Gods, whereas they can't do that in the Monument Valley. Because those bloody pesky Native Americans want to make as much money as they can from everybody.
That's why they have casinos.
That's it, yeah. Yeah.
So you got
have you? Oh, sorry, yeah, go on.
You got everything all planned out for next year.
Oh, I'm fucking miles away from finishing that, but I've got my folder which I did for the one me and Carolyn and me and Sam did. So I've got, this is the sort of stuff I've got. Let's get to one of the pages. That's Page. How ironic. So Moab. So I've got the hotel we'll stay at, what it's got: free breakfast, parking, Wi-Fi, pool, fitness centre, 4 restaurants that are highly rated. Archers National Park visitor centre's open 9 to 4. Park is open 24 hours. Archer Scenic Drive and the Windows Road, small loop. Then there's a big greetings from Moab sign in the town. And then the Moab to Page is 284 miles. And on the way, we'll stop at Wilson Arch, Sugarloaf Rock / Church Rock, Valley of the Gods for free, Mexican Hat Rock, Forrest Gump Point, where he was running and he just stopped running. That's a famous location. Monument Valley Viewpoint, Welcome to Utah sign and Arizona sign, Observer Rock, Finger Rock, and then we appear at Page. I turn the page, and I've got the hotel will stay there, things that you can do in Page, restaurants, got 4 big restaurants there. So I'm slowly going through everything and just writing it all down. The Amarillo to Albuquerque Drive, there's a lot of stops on that.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, so I'm doing like a section at a time, but then just leaving it when I'm halfway, and then going to another bit and just finding stuff. So I do different things. There's a bit at Juliet from the Blues Brothers, so I found the exact part of the prison where the car drives past before he goes and meets him at the entrance. Right. So I know exactly where I have to make Carolyn stand with the camera and say, "Film me when I drive past." I'll take it.
The great thing about Kaz is she just goes with it.
Yeah.
She goes with the flow. She lets you organize everything like that. She just goes with the flow.
Yeah. So I've got, when I open Google Maps, I've got, because when me and Sam did ours, all the bits where we were going to had a little car on it. But this time I put the American flag. So the Route 66 is just a swathe of American flags all the way across my Google page, Google Earth. But it's hilarious. So all I do is I'll just open up a little bit, zoom right in onto the motorway or the road it is, and then just see and just type in Route 66 museum, things to do, places to see, and see what pops up. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing everything, but when you see like a clump of stuff, you think, "Oh, should we stay there? Should we stay there?" Because I don't want to stay in all the big cities. I don't want to sort of go, right, we'll drive to Oklahoma City and stay there. I'd rather start staying somewhere like I think the terminology that they use for it is mom and pop's places.
Yeah, a place just outside the city or whatever.
That's right. And enjoy what is close
like
to it
like
was.
The Bates Motel.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, we've got. I was looking at one the other day, one of the places in Williams, and it had those. Oh God, what are them bloody jets? Is it Jetstream? Them silver trailers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it had about 6 of those in a little area. Like, and some could sleep 2, some could sleep 3 and 4. And I was looking at them, but then you had to go on to bloody Airbnb to book them, and I thought, I'm not fucking going on that. I used it once for a place, I used it twice. I used it once for a place in the UK when I was staying at somebody's house to go to a convention. And the other time was when me and Carolyn were going to stay in Los Angeles. I booked it all up, paid for it, and then it suddenly was like, I'm sorry, I've got to cancel this, but you can do it again. I thought, do it again. I bet that means it's going to be more money. And I just thought, I'm not going to. I'm just going to get the hotel. So I got that hotel at the free park, but yeah, I quite enjoy doing all the research and stuff because you can really read into stuff.
Well, we really liked it when you came here and you went to the ostrich farm.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I was watching some videos of that the other day just to see what other people have done, and it's just one of my favorite places. I wish
that's a mom and pop place too. That's family owned.
Yeah, because it's just like you wouldn't even know of it. And the thing is, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's just basically between Tucson and Phoenix, and you're just like you're not really getting. Obviously people do. They'll pop out the city to go there, but it's just a weird location in the middle of absolutely bloody nothing.
Yeah, but they get a lot of business.
Yeah,
they're expanding it as well.
Are they?
Yeah, they're on the inside. They're doing a lot of stuff on the inside of it, and then they're expanding on the outside.
Yeah, I mean
they do a lot of stuff. They provide the ostriches to all the ostrich races and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, but you got like that. I'm looking at it now. Pikachu Peak. So you got like a nice mountain. You can have a walk up if you want to. But yeah, it's the amount of people who were there when we were there it was quite a hell of a lot. But you didn't feel crowded because everyone was just moving around whichever way they want. They didn't.
Well, and it's a big piece of land.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I regret not doing, and I said this to Carolyn when we watched the videos the other day, I said I wish I'd sort of sat down in front of the ostriches and held the food up in my hands so the ostrich heads were all coming over me, and you got pictures of me doing that. And she's like, well, you can't do everything. I'm like, well, I would have done that if I'd have fucking thought of it. Pecking me head and things like that, just to get some hilarious pictures.
Some of them are grabby and some of them aren't. Some of them are really gentle and others are like little bastards. Take your finger off.
On one of the videos she filmed of me, you hear me say that I felt that one right in my finger where it grabbed me, but other ones it's just like a gentle peck out of it. Yeah, it was brilliant. I loved it.
And they had the one goat that follows you around everywhere.
Oh god, yeah, we had that one. It was like I'll just eat till I fucking explode sort of thing, and I'll eat everything that you've got. But yeah, so it's just I say it's finding things like that on the route, and just sort of going right. Should we do that? Should we do that? Yeah. But
all right. Anything to say before we hit the road?
Don't know. That's why we got to get ready for World War 11, haven't we? Well, no, 12. World War 11's happened, so we got to get ready for World War 12.
She's panicking. Ilhan Omar is a Democrat over here. She's involved in the Minnesota fraud. They're investigating her and her immigration status as well, because apparently she married her brother in order to get into the United States. So she lied on her forms, and also she was worth $30 million. And then because they're investigating her, she put in her tax form that she only we only like 25,000 or whatever. Like, they had a winery that was supposed to be bringing in a lot of money, but the winery doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So they shut it down and said, we don't have the winery, which, is weird because she's Islamic, right? And Muslims don't do anything with alcohol.
No, that's right.
So that's kind of like a weird one, but they're going after her because she's involved in a lot of the fraud.
Yeah, of course they are.
Right. So and then she's not the smartest one either. Everything is racist. You question her anything, everything is racist. Yeah. And then she's the one that said World War 11. She got the two eyes and said World War 11.
That's it.
Yeah, she's not the brightest. Anyways. I think that's it. I think we're done. I'll stop recording.